Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first day of the original or the proper tournament for GCD. We had our qualifiers yesterday, we have our 8 teams, and I am joined here today by the one and only Zunyaki and the one and only Sidu. How are you guys doing today?
Doing fantastic. Really happy to be here. First time commentating GCD, so I'm really excited. Really excited to see what the European teams got. So, all in all, just really happy to be here.
How about yourself, Zuny? Is he maybe sorting stuff right now? Okay. Well, anyways, we've got some fantastic matches coming up for you today, guys. We're starting off, in fact, with Mimpoike's team, so we'll just hop over to that bracket right now. And unfortunately, the bracket does not seem to be working right now on the thing. That is very unfortunate. We'll try and get that fixed for you guys shortly. But it's going to be Northern Gaming Blue playing in the first series against the team that we saw successful yesterday during the qualifier, so Cavi X's team, which is going to be the one which we struggled a little bit with the pronunciation of yesterday. I think we went with something along the lines of Thuringa Klose or something. When Zinyaki comes back, I'm sure he'll help us out with that. But they were running the DK Windwalker Holy Paladin composition yesterday. I think we also saw the DK Survival Hunter from them. And of course, they'll be going up against Minpoike, Waz, and Maro playing the mage. He is the sub in for Reiku for this tournament. So I guess we expect an RMD against either DK Hunter or DK Windwalker. What do you think about this matchup potentially, CD?
It's definitely not a matchup I'm too familiar with. Honestly, with the assassination fire nerfs, I'm kind of maybe leaning towards the cleave here. I think they might have the longevity kind of last that RMD out. I don't know if the CC is going to be enough without the Mortal Strike, and essentially, if they can't get the CC rolling and if they don't have enough damage output, I think they'll eventually melt. I think one of the comps that was actually flying under the radar a little bit was like that Unholy Hunter. Everyone was over here complaining about Rogue Mage, and I was really, really struggling to heal against that. What is that? Crypt Fever is just so powerful against those Druid Hots. If they last long enough, eventually those Hots just won't do anything. So I actually think I might have to give this to Cavi's team. I don't know too much about them, but I know Cavi's a really good player. I played with him a little bit on Feral Druid, and I know he's been really successful in the past with Holy Paladin. And even though NG Blue is one of those powerhouse RMDs, maybe the fill-in's not enough. I don't know too much about Marrow, but I'm kind of maybe seeing this leaning towards the Windwalker DK. I'm actually pretty excited to see this match.
Yeah, this should be very exciting. I think suddenly I agree with you. DKs have been kind of one of the thorns that RMD has struggled with in the past. Like you say, that crit favor is just so devastating against the Restoration Druid. Even I think it got like a slight 10 or 15% nerf. It's still like, if it's hitting for 50% of their damage, it's still going to be incredibly powerful. And it should be interesting to see, because Northern Gaming Blue, they've overcome adversity in the past. Of course, these guys are fantastic players. But Cavi's team as well, they've got regional experience on their side. I think Cavi almost made it to a BlizzCon one year as well, so they're definitely experienced players on this team, and we saw they looked so devastating yesterday as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how that pairs up. Right now, guys, of course, the format is going to be this blind pick on Negrand Arena, so we're waiting to get the lock-ins from both of these sides so we can get into the first game ASAP. We're waiting for that right now, and once we have that, we should be able to get into Nagrand. Of course,
Hey,
when
guys.
the... Hey,
Hey, I'm Dax.
nice. How
I
you
finally
doing?
made it. Good. How about you guys?
Doing awesome. We're waiting to get into our first series. Oh, we need you to pronounce the name for us. We can't, we were struggling.
Do we really have to?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I think I don't have it in front of my eyes, but I believe it was Thüringer Klöße.
Thuringa Klissa. It sounds so much better when you say
Something like that.
All I heard was Cavi's team.
it.
Yeah.
Cavi's team, exactly. So we have Cavi's
Oh,
Austrian-German team thing against the mighty Northern Gaming Blue. And of course, Zunyaki was a part of Northern Gaming Blue for this last year's BlizzCon. So how do you think the team's going to match up in this game?
Yeah, I was listening to you guys a little bit, and I would say I agree. There's so many new changes that came in, and the strat. I feel like the strategies evolved. Before with assassination and a fire mage, like potential, you could basically just almost do anything against a comp like this. Now that you have to play sub, especially against the Holy Paladins, I'm almost positive they're going to play sub. they just don't have the same pressure, right? So they have to like rely on CC more than ever before, and that can be hard sometimes when you have good players in front of them. If you put like a DK who can like actually stop a lot of CC between grips, range kicks, pet stuns, pet kicks. If he does a good job at stopping that CC, they could potentially out dampen almost or outlast the RMD. We'll have to see. And in that case, as you were saying, the Crypt Fever gets very, very powerful the longer the game goes in. And you could see potentially the RMD not winning for once.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, certainly that's another thing we have to touch on, right? There's these the hot fixes that came through on Wednesday were very significant, of course. Hitting the Assassination Rogue especially hard, so like you say, most likely we're going to see that Subtlety Rogue coming out a few more times today. We are ready to get into the first game though, so we will be able to see what these teams have lined up with. Nagrand Arena is going to be the first map, of course, as always. So we'll head into it now, and we can see it is going to be, this is the Subtlety Rogue, yep. Subtlety, Fire Mage, Restoration Druid, no real surprises, and they've actually gone for the DK Hunter that we saw once from them yesterday on Kavi's side. So do you think this is a correct choice from them?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think this comp is really, really good, and especially against Hunter. I mean, especially against mages, because a Survival Hunter and DK has so much uptime, especially with a Hard Stop Aura, which reduces the cooldown on temporal shields, on blinks. It makes it really, really devastating. And if they can get the CC rolling onto Minpoike and get the pressure, it will be very, very hard for Northern Gaming to get pressure in general, I think.
Well, the gates are opening here, and I think we're going to have a really, really quick start from this RMD. Some quick CC probably coming out to Kavi immediately. I think they're probably going to target the Hunter here. I think he's probably the weakness. I think the DK is probably going to be, borderline unkillable. So we're going to have to see what they do here. They're slowly kind of moving in stealth, and we're probably going to see some saps, maybe try and bait out adaptation, but I doubt anyone's playing that right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're definitely going to try and... Oh, actually, look at the open out on Kavi. Divine Protection has been used. Immediately, Poike trying to go for clone. Actually gets the full clone on Mayline. Stuck in his Kavi. Not trying to use the wings just yet. I think he might have to use the Divine Favor to top himself off. But he has no Divine Favor now, so he's probably going to have to pop the wings. The melee wings are actually used, and he should be fine for a little bit.
It looks like Kavi's going to survive that attempt right here with that melee wings. Interesting choice there. I was going to wonder if he was playing the regular wings or not, but they actually go for a sheep on Kavi, and they're switching over to Naruto. So much damage. Great CC by Maru right here. Is he going to be able to follow that up with a Cyclone? Doesn't look like he gets it, but a triple DR sap into a half blind. So much CC coming out on Kavi. Are they going to be able to force the turtle right here? Unfortunately, it looks like they actually run out of CC, and a fantastic offensive Cyclone coming out of Naruto right there. By Minpoike, great job, but he actually gets shut down on Hodge, and it looks like they're going to force a block on this counter pressure.
Wow, that was... Oh, he actually stole the block, I believe. So Mayline doesn't have an extra out right now. Naruto, the Hunter, did have to use his acceleration. Still has a turret. He's stuck in it, though. Nice sacrifice by Kavix. Is going to save him from death. Maru, though, had to block and cauterize. Poike has playing adaptation, so if they get any CC before adaptation comes back, Maru may fall down with the offensive cooldowns from the team of Mayline and Naruto. They don't really have many offensive cooldowns. Now the pressure is back onto Kavix. Use Divine Protection. I think he's going to be fine. Melee Wing should be coming up very shortly here.
He actually got kicked right there. He actually can't use the melee wings or bubble right now. Going to see what he has to choose here. Looks like he's actually going to be forcing the bubble. Unfortunately, that lockout not allowing him to melee wings to survive that damage, but so much pressure right here. And I must say, great steal by Mayline stealing that block earlier ago, but the bubble is over. And looks like we're going to have to use the melee wings right here. Naruto getting so low. Still has that aspect of turtle, and he's going to use it, but he's too low. Is Kavi going to be able to keep him alive? Amazing Cyclone right there by Minpoike, and he just dies in the turtle. He used it too late. Kavi couldn't get the wings off, and fantastic CC coming out here by Northern Gaming Blue. But this is what we expect out of this team. These guys are fantastic players, and they're going to get it done right every single time.
Yeah, I would say what outshined the most game was really the crowd control and the constant presence of Poike with the clones. I feel like every time he was just able to actually play the game like he wanted to, and the PhD just simply was just getting shut down so much. They actually forced the block though, like in basically the first Hunter CDs, DK CDs was like an instantaneous block, and then but outside of that, they were just CC the whole time, and had to basically just pop all their defenses so early on. We saw the swaps onto Kavix between the Hunter and I think the swaps between the Hunter and Naruto and Kavix is really what made the game so quick. They forced every CD on Kavix, then went to the Hunter, forced the CDs, back on Kavi, forced the bubble, and then finished it on the Hunter at the end. And yeah, that was such a quick but defining game for me.
Yeah, that was an incredible game actually. It was so back and forth. I was looking at the time in CC on the board at the end there. It's like everyone on Cavi's team was in CC for a good 30 seconds or so, and the game was, what, 2 minutes long maybe? So that's quite a significant chunk of the game in CC, whereas Northern Gaming Blue, only Poike was in CC for more than a second, and he was in CC for about 10 seconds. So they did a fantastic job of denying that CC, because yesterday, of course, we saw like the DK Hunter combination was landing a lot with the kind of asphyxiate into trap combination that we kind of associate with these Hunter comps, but Poike was just able to avoid that CC at every opportunity. And then, despite the fact Maro still had to block at some point, they were able to take the game quite quickly.
I think the only time they were in trouble was they got the one CC chain on Poike and Maro had to block, and after that it was just complete control from NG Blue. I think the hard swaps is really what kind of did them in. Like you said, they went to Cavi, they forced cooldowns. They went to the Hunter, they forced cooldowns, and they just weren't able to keep up with that pressure. All in all, it wasn't a bad game. I think we're probably going to see a comp switch here. But I think they definitely have potential to win with that comp if they maybe clean it up a little bit. I think Fire was a great choice. Allows them to get more of that instant damage off. I think Frost is much more scripted. And so, I think it was a good spec choice.
It is also the first... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, we saw their DK Windwalker yesterday. Do you think that would help them out in this matchup, or do you think the DK Hunter is still the best option for them?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like I said before, we're not really used to see too much sub and fire. Of course, it's kind of like more newish. You saw it a little bit before, but it was mainly assassination. So it's hard to predict certain matchups with the patch recently hit. I would say though that's I feel like Cav's team can definitely win. Maybe they weren't like playing the best as they wanted to. I feel like since it's the first game of the day, they may not be into it as much as they wanted to. I feel like they polish everything up a bit and just try and just keep getting that CC going, trying to rotate CDs well, maybe stop a bit more offensive pressure from Poike somehow. I feel like the fact that he was able to just freely clone a lot kind of made it really hard on them. And if they could somehow stop that offensive onslaught from the RMDs, stop the CCs, stop the repolys, maybe stop some cyclones onto Cavics, and that could, as long as they can have the edge, I feel like they can survive and eventually win. So Poike is playing adaptation too, and I feel like he will once again. So if they can somehow capitalize on that, then they did once, and they got a block immediately. Block is a 4-minute cooldown. So if they can do that on the next CDs and survive till the next CDs come up, they could definitely, I think, win this game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think they can win too.
Yeah, I mean, the game was so close, right? Like, they got the adaptation several times and they got the block, so the RMD doesn't really have anything left after that.
Poike actually choosing the adaptation again here, and that's something that kind of makes me nervous on a little bit of a smaller map. He's not going to be able to range those Hodges as much, and they might be able to actually kind of abuse that a little bit. Maybe even potentially see a swap on Poike. If they catch him in caster form and no adaptation, maybe they could take advantage of that. But we're gonna have to see what they decide to do here. Cavi's sticking with those melee wings, which I think is probably the best choice. Otherwise, they'll probably all kind of rot down. It gives you that 1-minute defensive that's much better than that 2-minute, in my opinion. So we'll have to see what happens here. I expect big damage on Maru and another quick opener from Waz, probably opening up into Cavi. We'll probably see the same thing. So gates are opening. Let's see what they go for.
Yep, and Poike is still playing that Vim and Vigor, so definitely not expecting them to go on him, I guess, for now. Mayline's gonna DND. Actually gets Maro with a DND. Nice DND from Mayline's gonna pop Maro out. Cavi gets sapped though. They open it onto Naruto for now. That is the Hunter. Full clone. I think he actually stole the clone. Mayline wasn't able to aim miss before. I think he stole the clone, so he might be able to use that clone defensively. Full sheep. Now the cross CC is going on to the RMD. Adaptation is forced. Full stun onto Poike. Gets the thorns off onto Maro. So looks like they're fine for now.
Yeah, they actually get the adaptation on the Poike, and they followed up with a full trap. This is what I was kind of worried about. I think Relentless might have been a better choice there, but Waz going for the blind on Cavi, and they're keeping the pressure up on Naruto. They're going to need to kind of control Mayline right here if they want to get any pressure back in this game. But huge damage on Maro, actually holding the block right there. Really ballsy play. Poike with the Iron Bark and the Overgrowth. Great communication there for him to hold that block. Really important to do that as a healer, but they actually might get blocked through this. Great Cyclone coming out on Mayline, Sheep on the Cavi. A full kidney shot on Cavi. They are just relentless right now on Naruto. The CC is not ending on Cavi, but they're actually losing the exchange with all of that CC. Maro is still forced into that block. That is unbelievable pressure.
Yeah, but Poike is actually free casting for the last 10 seconds. Still could not hold the block despite the arm burst. The full stun is here now. Cavic doesn't have melee wings for about 10 seconds. His team's going to slowly fall in HP. Acceleration is used by Naruto. Ross also Royal Sacrifice used onto himself. Should be fine for a little bit. These wings are coming up very shortly. The DR Hodge, Maro actually gets something spell stone. I think it was maybe the spell steal. I'm not too sure. Poike is now free casting, has the adaptation back, so he should be able to top Maro off. And Naruto is also in some deep trouble. The Sheeps are fading though, so he should be okay. And Kavik should be able to top him off. But the Cyclone comes off. The Turbine has to be used.
Yeah, these clones from Minpoike are just absolutely beautiful. He's controlling this team almost single-handedly right now, but even though he's doing such a great job, Maro's still taking so much damage. Full kidney coming out on Cavi, and Naruto has to get stacked right there, and a beautiful Cyclone on that sack. That is insane. That, negates so much pressure, and Cavi put into the Sheep. Unfortunately, the sack's still up. It's going to break immediately, and Cavi actually is the melee wing, so they're going to be able to recover here, but another Cyclone on a Minpoike, but Mayline actually steals it, and a full clone out on a Minpoike with that forces the bubble from Cavi, and Maro is actually going to take a little bit of damage here. There is no adaptation for Minpoike, and Maro's actually, that must have been a temporal shield. That was a huge heal right there. Great temp by Maro. And another kidney on the Cavi right there. Naruto is still getting destroyed, but unbelievable CC, and it still looks like they're going to force the block from Maro, but he actually just didn't have it. I forgot it's only one block. It's not Frost. So they must have forced that cauterize earlier in the game. So that's my mistake.
Absolutely.
That's why Maro was so patient with that block. My mistake there.
Poike is going for the res, still did not get it off. It's always a signature move, always tries to go for the res. But yeah, what a much closer game, and it was extremely close at some point, as you were saying. I think the Cavi still, had that sacrifice up. Maro tried to go for a Sheep on it. Unfortunately, he broke the sack, but if that wasn't, if Cavi may had not have a sack there, could have been the end. Of course, he had the bubble overlap at the same time, and the team of Cavi was basically out of cooldown, but Maro once again has to basically block almost every time in the opener. I feel like the Gargoyle combined with the Hunter CDs is just too powerful. Poike was free casting for a good 10 seconds, but without a powerful healing touch spec that we've seen in the past, it's just not that easy anymore as a Resto Druid, I feel, to out heal these kinds of pressures.
Yeah, that's definitely another thing as well, right? Like, not only have they lost kind of this Assassination Rogue, which is the solo point of pressure for the RMD in some regards, they also lost that big Abundance Healing Touch spec, which I'm sure most people are familiar with by now. It definitely caught on as a popular spec on the ladder for quite a long time, but of course it got nerfed on Wednesday, so Minpoike, he has to heal with the original spec, which of course is not going to be as high burst single target healing per second, and it really seems like just the raw damage coming out of this DK Hunter is causing him so much difficulty, because he's doing such a great job of avoiding the CC, but they're still forcing cooldowns into Maro.
Yeah, I was actually shocked right there. The Iron Bar came out, the Overgrowth came out, and they had so much CC on the DPS, and they still forced block straight through without any CC on Minpoike. I'm kind of questioning the fact if adaptation was the best choice there. I think on a bigger map, it's much easier for Poike to kind of max range, make that paladin kind of work to get those Hodges, but on that map, it kind of felt like the Hodges were free. He couldn't really get any distance, so it almost felt like every trap was sitting full. I think Relentless might have been a better choice there, but maybe it wouldn't have been enough. 2 seconds off the trap might not do anything if you're not going to make it. So
yeah,
it's definitely a tough decision there.
Yeah, it's always debatable to choose between Relentless. As healers, you always like deciding. I feel like it also depends on your choices of the class that you're playing. For example, Druids, as long as they can get out of the stun, they can usually avoid the trap, I would say, simply because they can shapeshift out. I feel like almost any class can't do that except Restigers. They can just press dash. They can try and Kaido's Vortex. They can spam Travel Form and avoid the trap. So I feel like the only way to reliably trap a Druid is most of the time to stun him, and I think that's probably why he chooses adaptations. Like, okay, the only way for them to trap me is if I get stunned. So as long as I don't get stunned, I should be able to get trapped. But they can also, as you said, they can also exploit it a bit more. They can maybe get his adaptation, not pop any CDs, and then like 20 seconds later they have the full stun ready, and just be able to just force the block like they did on Maro. So it's always a bit tricky, and people can definitely abuse adaptation.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw Cavi even trying to help with that as well. Like, he was pushing in for those DR Hodges, and they were sometimes able to land the trap out of this type of stuff. So as long as they're aware of the adaptation, which I'm sure they are by now, it's game 3, they can just keep exploiting this, and they did a really good job. Poike was in CC for more than 30 seconds during that game, so it was definitely a benefit for them in the second game. We'll have to see. The map choice is Tolbron Arena for Northern Gaming. The bigger map to draw it out a little bit more, maybe allow Maro to cut away. play the longer game. What do you think about this map choice? Do you think this is going to help out the RMD?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly why they chose it. I think Min Poike is going to have adaptation for almost every single time he needs it in this game. It's going to be really hard for Cavi to actually push onto him and kind of force that adaptation with the Hodge without exposing his positioning by too much. So I think this is definitely going to favor the RMD here. Still sticking with the same comp, same specs, which is kind of interesting to me. I was almost thinking that maybe Frost could be better with 2 blocks since Cavi's team was actually just fresh out of cooldowns. But expect another fast-paced opener. They actually started on Cavi the first game, and they started on Naruto the second game. I think they're just trying to keep them on their toes, so we're going to have to see what they go for here.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see if they get pulled out once again. The Mayline did a great job last game too. I feel like with the sub rogue now, you kind of having the sap, kind of gives you a real edge. But then again, I think you can't sap anyways because they have 2 pets. So actually, no, they are all in triple stealth, so they can actually get saps in the opener. And it looks like they're actually going to get the full sap on the Mayline, opening onto Cavi's. Divine Protection is used. Artifact Melee Wings pop instantly. Combustion from Marrows also. Looks like they decided to swap. I actually wonder if they're going to swap into Naruto like they did there. There's a swap. Let's see if Cavi is going to get CC. There's a full blind. He's playing Relentless though, so let's see if they can time it out with a sap after that or a sheep.
I actually think Cavi's team was in a great spot right there, but then Waz actually got a full CC on Cavi on the melee wings. I think something actually might have broke the sap. It looks like it was like an ignite or something. A little unfortunate there, but one thing to know is Naruto actually immediately procced that adaptation, and Mayline stole sheep and put Min Poike into a full sheep. It looks like they're actually pushing in. That's an fix over on the Min Poike, and it looks like Maro is going to be the targeted choice here, but he's not taking too much damage. A half Hodge on Min Poike, and he's actually in so much trouble, but he still has the Iron Bark and the Overgrowth. We're going to see if Min Poike can get it off right now, or is Maro going to be forced to block? They forced the cauterize. It looks like they're trying to hold it. The Overgrowth is used, and it looks like they're actually going to top. There's no melee wings right now by Cavi. He's forced to wall. He's spamming these flashlights. He's trying so hard not to bubble, and Northern Gaming has got their DPS CC'd right now, so Cavi's kind of on his own right now, and it looks like he's struggling a little bit in the middle of the map. There's a full kidney shot. He has melee wings up in a few seconds. Is he going to be able to hold this off? And it looks like he's actually going to be able to force. He's going to be forcing that bubble there. Unfortunately, he popped melee wings at the same time, so he's a little low on defenses right here.
Yeah, great job by Waz. Was actually able to almost force solo force the ball and the full sheep onto Kavik now, swapping the pressure into Naruto. He does have Royal Sacrifice, but Maro still has a block adaptation force onto Poike. If they can get any CC onto him, it could be big trouble. And there's a full trap. A nice job by Naruto actually not getting Poike not being able to get the displacer off, and Maro's in big trouble actually getting that big heal off. DR Hodge, I think he might have to block anyways. We'll see if Poike has anything left for him. Naruto seems to be fine for now. Kavik has no bubble. He has no melee wings. Any sort of CC or pressure onto Naruto will be some big trouble for him. He still has the deter and acceleration ready, so he should be fine as Maro's taking all that heat.
And the full kidney out on a Cavi, and actually they're going Cavi, and there's no melee wings for 10, there's no bubble. He does have a bop available. We're going to see if he tries to hold it here. Maybe I sees it for a blind, but he might actually be forced in the position. Waz is doing a great job. Looks like he actually bops that blind immediately. Waz just shutting Cavi down. It doesn't look like that's able to be spellstone, and a fantastic cyclone right there from Min Poike, shutting Cavi down in that bop, and the melee wings comes back right in time for Cavi. He's going to need that. If they have a stun DR for him, though, he may just go down. He's spamming this damage, but Waz actually uses evasion. He can't hit him. He can't get any healing through that melee wings, and Waz completely destroying Cavi right there. And even though they got Cavi down, they still forced that block in time. So if Waz didn't actually use that evasion right there, Cavi would have topped, and NG Blue could have actually been in trouble. So fantastic gameplay right there from Waz, and amazing awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Poike had thorns on the mage, so Cavi was like in a really tricky situation. So he had thorns on the mage, and as you said, Waz had the evasion. So he was like, "Who do I hit now? Do I kill myself and hit the mage, or do I try and heal myself?" I guess he basically didn't have many options there. He had to basically cast heals on himself, and we know that if Holy Paladins don't have like either a Holy Light proc or a Divine Favor, it's really hard for them to actually top themselves back off, and he was in a very tricky situation. But I think Waz played really good that game. He almost forced the bubble by himself behind the pillar onto Kavix, and I think the relentless swaps between the Hunter and Kavik is once again what made the game, despite Mayline playing extremely well. I stole a sheep in the opener, almost forced that block, was able to put Poike into a full sheep, and then they had like a DR Hodge into a DR Trap, so much CC from them. So great job by both teams. Looks like Northern Gaming is going to be leading 2-1 for now, so excited to see what's going to happen on the last few games, but they have been pretty great so far. I'm really liking these games. How about you guys?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very exciting to see that they've both been able to win their map choices. We've seen some quite one-sided series yesterday, but now that we're into our main tournament, it's really nice to see that these games are also close as well. Like, Even this game, which was the map choice from the RMD, you would think it to be quite one-sided. They were still able to force cooldowns on tomorrow. They got the block, they got the colorized, so the game was still incredibly close. It's really exciting to see when the teams are so evenly matched. So fantastic gameplay coming out of both these guys, and whilst it is 2-1 in favor of Northern Gaming, you get the feeling that this game could, or this series rather, could still go either way. So that's very exciting. I'd just like to shout out a couple of subscribers we've got over the last, well, I guess over the start of this series, since the start of the broadcast. We got a subscription from Donor Guile, so thank you very much for that subscription. Welcome to the team. We also got a subscription from Grima Rizastor. Oh God, I'm amazing at pronouncing things. So thank you very much for that one, buddy. That was 30 minutes ago, so just as the broadcast went live. We also got a subscription from Vajira. Of course, he is a Rue subscriber. We've seen him before. So huge shout out, hit him with the flex, etc. Thank you very much for that one. A 12-month resubscription from Calandra, or Angie. She's our social media extraordinaire, the person who you see with all these great gifs on Twitter, etc. on the GCD Twitter, so definitely be sure to check that out. She does a fantastic job always, so thank you so much for that. And we also got a subscription from Adorable1, so thank you very much for that subscription as well. Of course, one of our chat moderators. So thank you for all the support, guys. We really appreciate that. Of course, we also have our Matcherino. You can type !Matcherino in the chat, and we would ask that you log in with your Twitch and donate using the code GCDTV1, and then thanks to our partnership with Matcherino, they will contribute $1 towards the prize pool if you do that. So that code again is GCDTV1. We would very much appreciate it if you would head over to their site and have a look at that. You're also, by watching the stream, you are earning 1 point per minute, and it's 30 points to enter a raffle on the bottom of their page. And at the end of the broadcast, there will be three rewards actually, 3 pets that will go out, $25 value, which you can get in game as like a nice little reward for watching our stream. So that should be very exciting. And of course, the more you watch, the more raffle tickets you can purchase, so the higher chance you have to win. We only have 3 people, I think, who have bought those tickets so far. So definitely, the more you buy, the higher chance you have. So definitely be sure to check that out. So what do you think? Going back to the series, it's 2-1 in favor of Northern Gaming right now. What do you think Cavi's team has to do to kind of turn this one on its head right now?
Honestly, I think Cavi's team is doing a great job. Mayline is, getting fantastic steals. We're seeing him poly the other team. We're seeing him clone the other team. They don't have a mage or a druid on their team, guys. He's doing that all by that Dark Simulacrum ability. He's doing a fantastic job. I think Sunki's doing a great job getting traps off. He actually started that game off immediately proccing adaptation out of his camouflage there. So he's getting great pressure. I just feel like maybe they're one step behind. They're so close to winning every single game. They have a ton of pressure. I'm not sure if they could do anything different defensively, maybe to try and survive a bit longer. They're always so close. Cavi popping melee wings and having to bubble the global later. They're almost like one global off from winning this game. I'm not sure if they can somehow try and get more CC, create more pressure to kind of throw NG Blue off their game a little bit. But it feels like they're so close. So we're definitely probably going to see. If we see the same comps, we're probably going to see a much smaller map. They're going to be able to abuse that adaptation, and we're probably going to be going into a game 5 here. But overall, I think both teams are playing amazing. We're just going to have to see if they can kind of swing the favor back in their way if they get to map 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I think games are as close as they should be and as they could be. I think both teams are playing really well, and the matchups I would say it's almost evened out. Both teams are actually doing plays. Poik is pushing off all these clones, these offensive clones. Mayline, he's stealing CCs as much as he can, and both teams are just playing really, really well, trying to hold off their CDs as long as he can. I mean, Cavi just bubbles almost every game at 8%. He's really trying to push his CDs to the best as he possibly can hold them for. Holds the bubble to 8%. Mario holds the block sometimes till 10%. Both teams are just trying to put every single thing they can to win this series, and that just give us some great show matches. Hopefully, the last few games here, the last potentially 2 games, will be as exciting and interesting as the first 3 ones. And yep.
Yep, hopefully. Of course, Ruins of Lordran is going to be the map choice. No real surprises there that the smaller map is going to be selected by this team. So we'll get into this one momentarily, and we can see how Game 4 of this series is going to play out.
Minpoike is still choosing that adaptation. Once again, we kind of touched on this earlier. I think it's going to be quite easy for them to kind of, abuse that adaptation on a much smaller map like this. Minpoike can't, range as easily, and Cavi's not going to have too much of a difficult job getting those Hodges off, especially if Minpoike is playing offensively with those clones, which he's doing every single game. Cavi's sticking with the melee wings, which I still personally think is the best decision. How do you feel about that, Zuni?
I feel like at first I thought like melee wings wasn't that good of an option, but I feel like they're swapping onto Kavik so much that he almost needs them. Just simply because when he doesn't have Div on favor and no wings, it's so hard to top yourself as a paladin. I guess you can kite, try to get away, but can you really get away from a sub rogue? I'm not sure. So Kavik is a great paladin. I'm sure he knows much more than I do. So I think if he plays melee wing, it's probably he's testing him out. And it looks like the D&D did not get Waz out. Actually did. Yeah, he actually gets Waz out. Melee once again doing some great D&Ds to deny the opener from Team NG.
I feel so bad for Mayline. Every time you see him in these openers, he's getting CC'd so hard, and they're going really hard on the Cavi right here. The wall's forced, and he's actually just going to have to bubble there, but that's actually a smart play, because if he used melee wings and they forced bubble anyway, they would have been really far behind, and they're actually choosing to go over on a Minpoike here. They're abusing the adaptation. He had no adaptation. He's playing Vim and Vigor. He's going to have so much trouble topping himself right there. Looks like his displace actually put him nowhere, and they're going straight on him, but great sheeps out on the Mayline right there. Maro keeping his druid safe for the time being, and Cavi still has melee wings. They're going to swap over to here with him with the kidney shot, but he's going to be able to pop melee wings and top himself right now. Minpoike has no skin, Minpoike has no bark, he's silenced up right now, and he has no adaptation. If they get one full stun, they might just be able to take him down, and it looks like they're going to connect right here, right now, and the melee wings from Cavi's up. As soon as he gets his Hodge, he might just go down, and it might be too late.
Yeah, it might be too late. He's in the bear form, using the frenzied region to heal himself, but nice blind is going to get buffed onto Naruto. That's probably going to be the kill. Full Hodge onto Poike. I think he's definitely dead. Spam cheap from Maro. Is it going to be enough? He's actually healing in that bear form. Displaces away. Is going to survive. Poike is pulling the miracle, getting away, casting the Regos. Amazing peels by Maro is actually going to save Poike for a little longer.
NG Blue doing a fantastic job keeping Minpoike up right there. Minpoike actually pre-bear forming that Hodge, or else he for sure would have been dead. And Cavi is out of cooldowns right now. He has no bubble. He has no bop. He has no melee wings. I think he's just going to get down. Huge Arm Master heal right there. And they are going hard on the Cavi. They know this game is over if they just stick to him. And they're keeping the DPS CC to the meantime, Mayline in a full sheep. And unfortunately, too little, too late. They were so close to getting Minpoike down there, but he just keeps his composure. He knows exactly what he's doing. The game's not over until his HP reaches 0, and he gets about 2%, all too well, and ruins a Lord on here for me. And Minpoike is a live Lord. Great peels by Waz and Mara there, keeping him alive. Unbelievable play.
Yeah, that was incredible. How on earth did he live that full Hodge? He was in a full Hodge on like 20% or so, 6 seconds stun, and somehow his team's able to keep him alive combined with that bear form. That was absolutely incredible. I can't believe that.
Really like to see the strategy switch up by Cavi's team here. Knowing that Minpoike is playing the adaptation, they bait that out. Knowing he's playing the Vim and Vigor, trying to take advantage of both those talents. I think that was a smart play. But unfortunately, that's about as close as they come. That could have gone either way for sure. So great job by both teams. NG Blue is actually going to advance in this one. So great job by them. And I kind of expect this this DK win marker to kind of rise up through the bracket. I definitely want to keep an eye on them later in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. What a close game. Cavi using the bop offensively onto Naruto, and that's he didn't have anything left at the end, but I feel like he kind of had to. If you see like a druid in a full Hodge at 10% health, it's almost instinct that you want to bop your DPS and do everything you can to help them kill. And I'm not sure if he pressed frenzy regen just before getting stunned, but he was definitely getting healed slowly back off by these hots, and I think may have had pressed frenzied region just before getting stunned. He was able to survive that. Of course, the spam CC from Waz and Maro is what also saved them. But great job by both team. I really like that they went on to Poike this game. As you said, adjusting to that Vim and Vigor and the adaptation, punish him for it. Unfortunately, it did not work this game, but I feel like it could have, and it was a good effort by them.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely could have been the contributing factor to him dying. Of course, he wasn't spec'd for them doing that, but I feel like if he doesn't play, certainly the Vim and Vigor, then when they're tunneling Maro, there's just no way he's going to keep them alive. It is 20% increased healing when he's caught up in that CC chain on 100% HP. But it was a really nice swap from Cavi. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out for them. They were so close to taking that one though. I agree with Sido completely. I think these guys could really go far in this bracket. It should be interesting to follow them later in the tournament. Of course, we're going forward now to hopefully our next game in the first. We do have 2 dropouts for today's tournament, unfortunately. So we're not going to be seeing Snake Eyes, who we saw yesterday. Their Paladin was unable to make it, and also Reels In on laptop. One of their players was unable to. I think one of the kind of mottos of the story is going to be that we should be heading over to 4-player rosters again for future events, because if you have that one player, sometimes it can be very difficult in an online event to have every single player available for the tournament day. So maybe if we go over to the 4-player roster, it'll kind of combat that a little bit. No one likes dropouts. We don't like them. You don't like them. It means less games, less exciting fights for us to watch. But we won't have those two teams. We're hoping to enjoy Legion against Easy Challenge as our next matchup. So we're waiting to see if we can get that one loaded up. If not, then we'll go straight into our winners bracket game. So we'll see Minpoike's team again.
How do you feel about the 3-man, 4-man roster, Zuni? Like you've been a player for a long time. You played with both for both online and LANs. How do you feel about 3 to 4 players on a team?
So I think I think you were discussing in your podcast recently, right? So it kind of made me think about it a little bit, and I feel like there's both pros and cons for sure. I would say that the biggest pros, the pros is that having 3 players makes it everything smoother. It makes everything easier to. Wait, am I still here?
Yeah, you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought I DT'd from now. It just makes it easier to, as a team, I would say, to practice. You don't have to, rely on a fourth person, so to speak. So you have 3 players. It just makes it a bit more coordinated and a more synergized team, I would say. So I always like the 3-man rosters. What I don't like about it, I would say, is that it gives the opportunity, the force player rather, gives the opportunity to other specs and classes to come into the game. If I think about 2015 and 2016 specifically, back when I was playing Shadow Priest, I feel like nobody would have taken me as a team on a Shadow Priest if there wasn't for the 4-man roster, just because everybody in 2015 and 2016 would have probably played Rogue Mage Druid, and why would you need like a Shadow Priest main team, or at least on EU. I think it could be different depending on the metas, but at least on EU, people were playing either RMD or Turbo, for example, and I feel like you basically almost didn't have a spot, or there wasn't a chance for Shadow Priest to perhaps have a spot. Of course, I'm taking the example of Shadow Priest, but it goes for every class, right? I feel like, just having 4 members can give the opportunity to other players to also play and compete in tournaments. So yeah, as I said, pros and cons, and there's some goods, there's some bads. I think I like the 4 players and I like the 3 players. They're just a bit different.
Yeah, I have to agree. I definitely like a lot of things about the 3-man roster, but I also like a lot of things about the 4-man roster. I feel like, to me, fortunately for me, since I'm a healer, I don't actually have to deal with this, but being the 4th player, it's got to be so nerve-wracking, watching your team kind of, play without you, then being maybe called in when you're down and out. Like, does that put any pressure on you as a player? Like, I think you guys actually won the European regionals and you got subbed in when you're down 3-1. How do you feel going into like matches like that, as that 4-man roster? You're losing 3-1. You're the last line of defense. Zuni's got to be that brick wall, come in and make plays happen. Do you feel like there's extra pressure? Do you feel like, you're super nervous watching the games? Like, that's got to be a pretty crazy experience. All right, Zuni actually decided to exit the building on that question. Hopefully we didn't strike a nerve. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure he probably just disconnected or something.
Yeah, that's unfortunate timing. We left a little bit of a gap there, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm also... Sorry, go on.
It's all good.
I'm also aware, guys, that it is on my incorrect microphone. I've been notified by the chat and by multiple other people. Unfortunately, I can't really change it right now. I'm not going to restart the broadcast just to change the microphone. So you just have to put up with my voice in a slightly more annoying tone for
that's all right.
A little while.
Fortunately,
we have these lovely guys commentating for us, so we don't have to worry about it too much. I just want to give a quick shout out to a few more subscribers that we've got over the recent time. We got up to Adorable 1, so the next person is Crotus1 has subscribed. Thank you very much. Hell's Chef, has also subscribed. Do I say this name? I guess it's fine. UGizGM has also subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much for all your subscriptions. And also, we just got a subscription from JMZ8. So thank you so much for the support, guys. Really appreciate it. We've got so many subscribers already today. So thank you for all of your support. Of course, all this money will be heading towards future events, or even to this one if we don't reach our $1,000 quota for the tournament prize pool that we want. And to see that, you can go over to Matcherino right now with the exclamation point Matcherino in the chat, and you can see what our prize pool is at for this event. Of course, we will round it up to 1,000 if we don't get there, but we're certainly hoping to. We are going to have an announcement for our first North American event that will be happening next month as soon as we do reach that $1,000 quota. So definitely trying to get there with our stretch goal. You can head over there, press the donate button, log in with your Twitch, and type GCD TV1. That will donate $1 thanks to our partners Matcherino for this event. We're also going to do a winner's interview if we manage to get to $1,200. So of course, all that money, none of it goes to GCD, all of it goes directly to the players you're watching play, to the prize pool. So definitely be sure to check that out. Also check out the little raffle we have at the bottom of the screen as well. So if you watch the stream, you're earning points passively thanks to our little bot, and he will collect your points, and you can enter the raffle using your Twitch account once again. And then at the end of the broadcast on Sunday, we will announce the winners of the raffle as well. So definitely be sure to check that out. And we can also see on the right of the screen some of our top donators. We got a $10 donation there towards that prize pool from DDER Seri, I guess, something like this. And also a $5 donation from Cachito. So thank you very much for you guys' support in addition to that. So it looks like actually our next series is going to be ABC playing against SJW, so that's Social Justice Warriors. So if we have a little look over at the brackets right now, Social Justice Warriors, which team was that? That was one of the teams from yesterday. Was that?
No, it was. I'm just looking at how. Yep.
Ah, yes. Okay, so that's Laser Chicken's team. So BlizzCon champion from 2014, Laser Chicken playing the LST2 against what is presumably another Rogue Mage Druid. What do you guys think of this matchup?
I mean, besides the fact that I'm having flashbacks to Laser Chicken, spanking me in 2014, I don't know too much about the teammates he's playing with, but I do know that Laser Chicken is an absolute monster. Daisy Duke, Asgarth, and Nixie, I think they were actually the regional competitors. They just barely missed out on BlizzCon last year. Is that right?
Correct.
Yep.
And so RMD versus LSD2, I just have no idea how this matchup works after the patch. I would have favored RMD, a couple of days ago, but after the patch, I feel like LSD2 is actually just such an insane amount of pressure. Do you think this Warlock's going to be playing Destro?
I'm actually curious if he will be. I know that he was playing Destro before the patch hits, so I'm not too sure if people considered. Some people consider Destro being a buff after the patch. Some consider it a nerf. It's much harder to get Chaos Bolts, which means you have less Fell Fissures, but you do more damage with your Chaos Bolts. So some consider it kind of a nerf. Some consider it kind of a buff. I'm not exactly sure what most Warlocks think about it, but from what I've heard, like some people consider harder to get these Chaos Bolts off, so you have less the Fell Fissure pressure, which was really one of the strengths of the Destro Warlocks. So I'm curious to see if, as you said, he will be playing Destro or maybe a different spec. I actually don't know.
I have to say that it probably does depend on the matchup. Longer Chaos Bolt times where something like RMD is probably an indirect nerf, just considering how much CC they have and how many interrupts they have. I would have to go on a whim here and say that Affliction is not going to be played. I would be actually shocked if he played Affliction. I think he would probably just get trained into the ground. I feel like Demo might be the spec of choice here. Do you think Affliction's in a bad spot right now? Because personally, I feel like it's the worst out of all the specs.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that UA just doesn't seem to work out is even though it has good, constant damage, it just gets easily out healed by a lot of healers. One of the first healer I can think of right now is actually Discipline Priest. One powered Radiance basically just out heals all the pressure from a UA lock in just one GCD. Boom, 3 targets just get healed for 400k, 500k sometimes, and that kind of just negates everything. Mistweaver Monks, of course, can easily out heal the pressure too. But I'm not too sure if Resto Druids can actually deal with it now. I feel like it might be a bit more difficult ever since Healing Touch isn't as powerful anymore. We'll have to see. I think that Destro or Demo, as you said, might be the most plausible options. So I know that he's most comfortable with Destro, so I'm assuming he's probably going to stick to Destro. I'm not sure if he actually has much Demo practice. So I'm assuming it's going to be a Destro, Moonkin, Resto Shaman that we're going to see.
Yep,
Yeah,
I think that's pretty reasonable.
From some personal experience, I think Destro Boomkin is incredibly powerful, and I think the biggest fault with UA right now is just it's the weakest defensively out of all the specs. It's got a 3-minute shield wall cooldown as opposed to that 1 minute. It doesn't have soul link. So versus Rogue Mage, I feel like that's just something, you know, you can't really put yourself in that kind of situation. You're playing UA, you're just going to get trained into the ground. You know, maybe the Moon can get some off clones, and they might be able to get some pressure that way. But it kind of hurts with fear, and you know, Destro doesn't interfere as much. So if they kind of force you know, all the interrupts into Laser Chicken, just stopping those clones, you might be able to free cast those Chaos Bolts. And I would have to say the LSD2 as Destro would probably be favored here almost. How do you feel? Who do you think is going to win?
I think it's gonna be an interesting matchup. I have seen it a lot before, you know, of course, like against the classic Ass of Fire, and haven't seen it too much against Sub. Sub just feels way more manageable, especially for hybrid classes, because you know, off healing actually can actually help. Before, like if I play with a Red or if I play my Shadow Priest against Assassination Rogue, it felt like you know, off healing, it was almost like just easily negated by the Wound Poison. But now there's no actual you know, MS effect, so to speak. So you know, hybrids tend to have a bigger spots. We've seen, like I said, we've seen more Reds, we've seen more Boomkins, we've seen more LEs or Enhances, things like that, just because they don't have to deal with that extra MS effect, so they can actually you know, participate in sort of, you know, just assist more their team. So to answer your question, who has the edge, who will have the edge in this matchup? I think if the Sub RMD, which I assume they will probably play Sub, if they get good cross CC going, and if they play a very offensive game and kind of just control the game against this Moonkin Warlocks, I think they will probably win the game. If the other team manages to capitalize more on the mistakes of the RMD and stop their CCs and manage to get pressure, and then I feel like it may even come to mana for the Resto Druid. I feel like you won't see any like big like CC burst from the Destro Boomkin, even though I could be wrong. I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. You could see it going in the favor of the LSD. So it could be going both ways.
Yeah, it's tough to put my finger on it. Do you think there's actually any chance he plays Assassination? I feel like Assassination may still be fairly powerful versus Resto Shamans. You know, just getting that Wound Poison up on everything, kind of rotting them all down with fire.
I haven't seen many SRO. Then again, you know, the hotfix has been live for only a few days on EU. But it could be an option. I know some rogues have been trying Assassination still. From what I heard, the pressure just isn't there anymore, and it feels almost just even worse than Sub pressure-wise. But it is an option, I think. So we'll have to see if Nixie decides to pull that out. Once again, I think like RMG still has like insane amount of control, but nonetheless, I feel like the game might actually go to it might be actually a long game. I feel like the LSD2 probably wants to drag the game out. You know, LSD has a lot of damage. The Boomkins and Destro can pull out some massive amount of burst. But then again, against a Rogue Mage that has this, you know, they have a kick, they have a kidney, they have a CS. The Mage can blink most of the burst. A Rogue can feint and cloak. I feel like they can delay the game until they get that perfect setup, and eventually the LSD2 will run out of CDs. So I'm just curious to see which kind of strategy the RMD will opt out for. Will they play just really offensive and try just rush down the enemy team, maybe as Asa, as you said, or will they try and play it Sub and just try and get some good CC and just trying to control the game until they run out of cooldowns? Hard to say.
Yep, for sure. So I just want to catch everyone up on what's going on right now. We do have the blind picks and everything ready. We're just waiting for one of the players, since they weren't expecting to have to play immediately, so they went AFK for a few minutes, but we should have them back. In fact, he is back now, so we will be able to queue up into this game momentarily. Just having a little look over at those brackets once again. Unfortunately, that has not worked. I will try one more time. This is the problem with OBS. Okay, there we go. So we have our brackets there. We did have a couple of dropouts, guys. So, of course, we did just see this series, Northern Gaming playing against Cavi's team. That was a 3-1 series in favor of Northern Gaming. Very close, good games. And we had Reels In on Laptop, Snake Eyes, and Easy Challenge. Unfortunately, we were not going to be seeing those teams compete today. Each team had one person, unfortunately, couldn't show up. So we are going to move into this upper bracket like we see. So ABC against Social Justice Warriors, which of course we've just been talking about. That's going to be the LSD2 playing against the suspected Rogue Mage Druid from ABC. We should be able to get ready into this game momentarily. Since all the players are now here, we are ready and waiting to go. And just to reiterate what we were saying earlier as well, once we do hit that $1,000 prize pool target for this event, we are going to announce immediately the North American event that will be coming up next month for GCD TV. So I know there's been a lot of people, probably even one of the people in this call is very excited for when that event will be announced and be ready to hit live. We will be, of course, using Match Arena for that as well, so everyone will be able to contribute in a similar manner towards that. That would be fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the North American ladder has progressed, because honestly it's been, I think our last North American event was in December, right guys? So
yeah,
there's
it's been a while.
3-month gap since the last event, so that should be a fantastic thing to watch.
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes since then. You know, I feel like the NA ladder isn't actually that active right now, so hopefully this kind of gives people incentive to kind of start queuing up. And I'd actually be really interested to see like what 8 teams actually decide to fill the spot and with what comps. There is quite a bit of variety these days with this patch that currently hit. You're just not seeing Rogue Mage, all the cookie cutter stuff. You're seeing some of those hybrids that weren't doing as well, things like that. So it should be pretty excited. So if you guys want to go ahead and support and get this NA tournament live, it's like the EU tournament, but with a little less skilled players, Kappa. So it should be a good time. And it looks like we actually have a really interesting pick right here. And someone told me they actually think this is the best comp in the game. We see a Warrior Mage. And I haven't seen this since the patch, but I played a little bit of Warrior Mage before the patch with Fury. And with Arms, it actually is probably going to be pretty devastating with this MS. So this is going to be a pretty exciting match.
Is he playing? I can't tell if he's playing. He might be playing
Fury,
two weapons.
Oh, he is Fury.
He does have 2 sticks behind his back, so I think that means that he is playing Fury.
So the Fire Mage Warrior against the Destro. This is going to be a pretty fast-paced game.
I don't know if you guys could get a chance to look at Nixie's character, but that looks incredibly unintimidating to me. Like, being hit by those sticks looks just not painful at all.
I think it's just the camouflage, just, you know, then people just don't expect the big burst. But I think the reason they choose the Fury is probably because the amount of off-healing against these kinds of rot pressure. So we'll have to see when Nixie decides to do it. Looks like he's opening up onto a trios for now. Earth and Shield Totem is dropped down by Smork Nation. Moonkin CDs are being used. A full call onto DJ Batman X. And looks like the pressure is onto Daisy right now. Chaos Bolts are going off. It actually not being able to get reflected. And big burst temp shield is going to be popped, but it actually forced the cauterize from Daisy Duke.
And a huge temp shield right there from Daisy Duke. He tops himself, but unfortunately that cauterize was procced first. Great CC coming out from SJW coming into that. It was a Cyclone on the Druid and the double coils, and that's what caused that pressure. But it looks like they're actually turning that around onto the Warlock right now. The wall is actually forced out right there, but a full clone on Daisy Duke, so he can't get that pressure out right now, unfortunately. And it looks like so much pressure is happening on Nyx right now. And the Iron Bar comes out from DJ Batman, just trying to top some of this pressure. Smork Nation just kind of sitting in the back, just spamming those heals, but unfortunately he gets polyed. Maybe not the greatest position right there. And Aristros in so much trouble right now. He has no wall, he has no Hellstone, and the CC is just going to end right now in Smork Nation. Actually, it's followed up by Stormbolt, and the Chaos Bolt's coming out right now with the double coils. Looks like they're going to be able to turn this pressure around a little bit, and it looks like SJW is going to be able to kind of, you know, sustain a little bit here. The Earthen Shield's down. It looks like they're out of CC. He may have actually gotten locked out right there. So actually still in quite a bit of trouble, and they forced the Link too with a full sheep, but I think the Link's actually going to break that poly. So great job by Sport Nation right now, and it's just kind of a brawl right now in the middle of the map. So much damage going back and forth.
Yeah, temp shield is used by Daisy just in time. 10% health. He's going to be able to hold that block. Moonkin got his laser chicken. He's doing a good job with the clones onto Nixie, but that Fury Warrior pressure is just relentless. He's just, you know, between the pummels and the reflex, it's just so hard to get pressure onto him. Avatar's pop, full sheep onto Smork Nation. Atreus does pop his wall. Should be able to survive this onslaught right now. Daisy Duke seems to be the main target of choice. Done at 20%, decides to block, overlap with the Railing Cry. But wow, both teams just forcing such a good amount of CD so far. DJ Batman down to 50% mana. I'm not sure if it's going to come down to mana. The burst just has been insane. Nixie Warrior just now in trouble. Has the full hots rolling. Atreus doing his best as he can to get these Chaos Bolts going. I feel like if he does, and he puts the Fellfisher on the ground, they're actually going to get so much pressure. Atreus drops to 20%. A big heal from Smork Nation is going to top him off, and the Earthen Shield just comes back off.
Yeah, the Earthen Shield going down right now. Aristos should be in no trouble at all, but he actually has no defensives. He has no Petsack. He has no shield wall. I think on the next swap, or the next CC chain, he might actually just be able to go down. DJ Batman just kind of sitting in the back, doing a great job keeping his team alive, getting a full Cyclone out there on Laser Chicken, and a sheep on Aristos, clone on Laser Chicken right now. It actually looks like they're just trying to shut down the pressure a little bit because they're going to go immediately back on Aristros. And there's the Stormbolt. If they could get a sheep off that, there's no cooldowns available. Aristros could actually be in quite a bit of trouble right now. He kind of shuts it down right there with a double coil, followed with that beam on Daisy Duke. The Ironbark goes out on Daisy Duke right there, just trying to relieve some of that pressure. And they're just having so much trouble getting the CC out on Smork Nation. But there's the full poly right now. Aristros actually pops that wall, comes back right in the nick of time. He's going to take 30% reduced damage. Nixie immediately triggering that bash, followed by a clone by Laser Chicken. So great peels right there by Laser Chicken. Smork Nation getting CC'd, and Laser Chicken just essentially keeping Aristros alive.
Yeah, Richards was into so much pressure, and we actually saw DJ Batman who went for a big drink, no block available still. He was able to drink about 30 seconds ago from now, and that's the reason he still has mana. He's actually burning through the mana so quickly, and the pressure from Nixie and Daisy is really strong, but I feel like Richards actually a nice core reflect here by Nixie onto Richards. He is having some trouble to actually get Chaos Bolts off, but a big heal from DJ Batman is topping Nixie Warrior off, and a nice clone once again by Laser Chicken. That is Moonkin God on your screen. DJ Batman running dangerously low on mana, and the pressure is onto SGW for now. Full stun, not being able to get the Wrath out of that. A nice CS is going to stop Daisy Duke from getting any CC, and looks like the pressure is onto the team of ABC. They're all slowly running down. I don't know how long DJ Batman can keep them up. It looks like he's going to be trying to go for another drink very shortly. No, he can't for now. A full sheep onto Smork Nation. The wall is going to fade on Aritros, but a nice clone once again, and Nixie should stop some of that burst.
It looks like this is a last-ditch effort coming out here from ABC. They're doing a fantastic job staying alive right now, but at what cost? DJ Batman, almost Umi, uses that Innervate right now. They use their final CC on Smork Nation. They're kind of getting dampened. All three of them, kind of low on hit points. Not DJ Batman, though. Nixie and Daisy Duke just taking so much damage right now. DJ Batman looking for a drink. If he's not able to get it off, it's probably just going to be the game here. He's got to make a risky move. The Ironbark out on the Warrior. Daisy Duke in so much trouble. No block available. No cauterize available. And this SJW team, the LSD2, is just going absolutely nuts right now. Once they start stacking up, the Starfalls are going to hit everyone, and they're just going to kind of fall apart. So if DJ Batman could somehow find a way to get a drink with all this pressure, they may be able to continue going, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. He's sitting in the Starfall. There's just nothing he can do. Nixie sitting in that Fell Fissure. He gets out as soon as he can, but they're just everywhere. He's taking so much damage, and SJW is just not even pressure right now. They're target dummies right now in the middle of the map. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, I think the game is totally over. Total Beam coming out onto DJ Batman X, and Nixie Warrior goes down. And wow, well, actually, he's still at 1% HP. He actually survived for a brief second. He was just holding off to 1% HP for was just the hots tickling, and he's going to go down. And wow, despite the amount of healing this Fury Warrior did, he was still under so much pressure all game. And eventually, DJ Batman just ran out of mana. He actually had a drink mid-game. He drank about 40-50% mana. It just went really quick because with the Mage Water, you don't have to wait a 5-second tick. So he was able to get a big chunk of drink and still went about a minute or so later. So yeah, we weren't actually sure how this game was going to happen or turn out. Looks like the LSD2 was able to out-mana the other team as expected. And despite getting the link very early on, getting all the CDs from Smork Nation, the LSD2 is able to come on top and win that first game on Nagran.
Oh god, watching Laser Chicken
It looked
play,
like a pretty convincing win from the LSD2 point of view, in my opinion. They did get cooldowns, but that's just kind of how the game's going to go. Use your cooldowns, kind of accordingly to the way the other team's using their offensive cooldowns. It didn't really look like they actually had the kill potential. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Fury actually doesn't have an MS effect, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I kind of wonder if they should give up some of that survivability for maybe a little bit more pressure if they decide to go with the same comp. I feel like the MS with the Sharpened Blade could have potentially gotten them kills at times. So,
it's possible. People consider Fury Warrior to be really strong against Destro just because they just they kind of have like a constant pressure. They can self heals a lot by themselves, and they have basically. And the Fury basically has like almost 100% uptime. Like a Destro Warlock can't really ever get away from a Fury Warrior, and like the defensive way for a Destro Lock is basically just trying to counter pressure as much as he can. Put the Fell Fissures on the ground, trying to get as much damage as possible. And Daddy did. He also has the Moonkin who can peel a lot with these clones, and the pressure was just nonstop on on the team of ABC. So yeah, I'm actually wondering if they decide to play something else. If they're gonna try and maybe change the spec, change some comps. I feel like they could potentially win the game, but the LSD2 did have a good cooldown rotation, a good amount of peels, and as long as that's the case, I feel like they should be able to win another game.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm muted in Discord actually, so let me just quickly change that. This should be
There we go.
better now. There we go. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, watching the game there from Laser Chicken's point of view made me wish that I was remotely half decent at Boomkin, because, God, it looks so incredibly fun from his point of view. Like, even though there's a warrior and a mage on the other team, which would traditionally be kind of like, they're going to shut you down, deny your damage, deny your crowd control, he just does such a great job of, like, he was getting out 1 million damage full moons in this game. He was doing, like, bash cyclones, cycloning trinkets all over the place on Nixie. Like, he was just doing such a great job of denying this RMD. And honestly, like, it's fantastic to watch Laser Chicken play Boomkin. It makes me really happy to see him succeeding, especially as this, which is kind of like his signature comp. Every single time you see Laser Chicken doing well, it is this LSD2 composition, which he, of course, took all the way to the BlizzCon finals, both at the cost of... In fact, there's 3 of us in this call that all got beaten by Laser Chicken that year, so not necessarily the nicest memories for us, but definitely, like, it's phenomenal watching him play, and he did such a great job of denying the other team as well as killing in this last game.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was saying, like, Fury Warrior just has so much self-healing potential. He has Reflect, he has Pummel, so he can actually shut down a Warlock a lot, but it's just the damage was just still insane from both Erythros and Moonkin God. It was non-stop. It came down to mana, I would say. Maybe we'll see DJ Batman X play Vim and Viger. I feel like he was, full HP most of the game, so that the Vim and Viger could come into effect. But then again, I'm sure he knows better. Maybe if he has Vim, the Moonkin will decide to push more on top of him and deny him that. And as I say that, it is going to be a comp swap. The Fury Warrior from Nixie with these 2 sticks are going to be replaced with this 2 little daggers. And he is going to be playing Subtlety.
Yeah, let's have a little look at Nixie's transmog this game. What do you think? If he didn't have the sticks, if he had like some big ass axes or something, do you think the game would have changed?
I mean,
definitely would have did more damage there.
That's how it works. Some people, when they lose a game, they talk about strategies and different things they could do, and some people just change their transmogs.
Yeah. What is that mount AZG has as well? That mount is incredible. I love it. Like big purple wings. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Let's get into the game.
I'm pretty happy to see the comp switch to RMD here. I don't think the Warrior Mage worked out as well as they wanted it to. I think we're probably going to see a hard open onto the Warlock with a sap starting off on the Shaman, but we're going to see how they approach this. They're slowly moving in. Maybe they're going to test for adaptation. I doubt it. Actually deciding to sap the Warlock and decide to open up on Smork Nation, I believe. Not too much pressure going on Smork Nation. That is the second stun DR, and he's still essentially full HP. Maybe they're actually just trying to bait Earth Shield on him so they can hard swap to someone else. Full clone out there on Aristros. It actually looks like maybe they're swapping a Laser Chicken right here with the Earth Shield on Smork Nation. If they could get some CC right now, it would be fantastic. There it is, the full sheep on Smork Nation, but unfortunately he actually gets the Earth Shield up, and the Earthen Shield's already down, so it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get any pressure, but they are forcing some cooldowns.
Yeah, it looks like actually nice double core. Richard's going to get the first chaos bolt off Curse of Tongues. Actually decides to play with Curse of Tongues to reduce some of that pressure from the Fire Mage. Going to put it on. A lot of AoE pressure going on Smork Nation. A wall has to be used. Ascendants and Hellstone, are also going to be in effect. So he should be fine for now. Moonkin God, that's the end of his CDs here. Passes Starfall up on almost 3 targets right here. So the pressure is pretty insane. Nixie has to cloak. Daisy Duke with the Armor should be okay as DJ Batman popping that tramp behind the pillar. But a good amount of CDs been forced from both teams so far.
ABC in a bit of trouble right here. Decides to blind Laser Chicken up right there with the full kitty out on Smork Nation, but he's playing that Orc Relentless. He's not taking these stun DRs to the full effect. He's barely sitting in them. Only gets them to half HP with that swap right there. That is definitely not what they need to do. I don't know if the Shaman is actually the correct target. He's just kind of healing through this damage so easily without wound poison. Decides to gate away right there. He's going to top himself, no problem. They're actually going to try and swap over to Laser Chicken right here. Smork Nation gated to the other side. He gets the Earth Shield up that 15% damage reduction. Laser Chicken's not taking too much damage right now, and unfortunately, I think ABC is going to start to lose this exchange. They're out of CC for both Laser Chicken and Smork Nation. The beam comes out onto DJ Batman. He gets locked out on his heel, and I think the pressure is going to start accumulating for ABC.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice low clone onto Nixie. See if they can get any CC onto DJ Batman. I think it's going to be pretty hard for Destro and Moonkin to get CC unless he pushes for a bash. He does push for the bash, instantly triggered it, overgrows onto Nixie. It looks like the pressure from ABC's onto Moonkin God once again. Full stun onto him. No CC onto Smart Nation though. There's actually a pull Kenny into Roth. Nice CC chain. He can't scare right now. He's locked on Cyclone. But I think he should be fine. As you said, no wound poison effect. Makes it pretty easy for the rest of Shaman to actually heal this kind of pressure.
DJ Batman doing a great job keeping his DPS alive right now, but unfortunately for him, it looks like he's actually losing the mana game right now. He's put into a full fear. That cloak's almost up for Nixie, so he shouldn't be in too much trouble. And ABC is actually doing a great job hitting the target without Earthshield, trying to maximize their damage output, not attacking into that 15% damage reduction. But it just doesn't seem like they have enough to kind of push through. They're not going to win this game before dampening, but I don't even know if they're even going to be able to last that long. Nixie taking so much damage right now, has to cloak once again, so that cooldown is not going to be available for him. Daisy Duke sitting in a Fell Fissure, he still has that block available. Those Fell Fissures are kind of everywhere right now. You can't really fault him for that. And they're just trying to get what they can going on. Full clone on a Aristros right there. He actually decides to trinket that and lock out, I believe, Daisy Duke to stop on that polymorph. But a full sheep right there on Smork Nation. Earthshield up for Laser Chicken right there. So he's actually not going to take that much damage. Can they follow it up? That's a half sheep right there. Are they going to be able to get a Cyclone off that? There is a full Cyclone, but the Relentless doing so much work right now, reducing that CC. Laser Chicken a little bit of trouble. They kidney that off. That is fantastic CC right there from ABC. That is exactly what they need to do, and it just doesn't look like they're going to have enough to get it done. Can they get a maybe an offensive clone on Laser Chicken? And even without all that CC, Daisy Duke's actually the one in trouble. Great Hex right there by Smork Nation, coming out all that CC, saying, you know what, I've had enough of your CC. I'm going to CC you, kind of fighting back. And ABC's on the back foot right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Moonkin God was under so much pressure, but still, ABC was dropping left and right. Rituals by himself was able to just put so much pressure on himself, and DJ Batman has to drink. That is the crucial drink. The only way for them to stay in this game is that big drink. The Mage Water is going to do so much work. He actually gets back to 65% mana. I feel like he may have to actually go for more mana in the future because this game still will go for a little bit on. I mean, Smork Nation still has a link available. Cooldown are coming back. They actually forced to quarterize almost instantly with that Star Surge from Laser Chicken. Honestly, these Full Moon is popped out. It's going to be taking onto Nixie Rogue. Has Cloak at 10% HP. Wow, what a close swap onto him right here. But there, ABC is going to be fine. Pressure is onto Moonkin God. Once again, if you use the Bark Skin, I think he's going to be fine. Balanced Druids are actually very, very tanky when they sit in bear form. So as long as a Smart Station Story is not CC'd, it should be fine. A nice War Stomp into Clone is going to deny that full blind onto Smork Nation. I think even though he's been being low, he's healing himself. Or nice DR Clone onto Moonkin God. But I feel like the CC chain is over now to Smork Nation and instantly tops his Moonkin back off.
What a crazy, what a crazy attempt right there for SJW to get that kill. They forced the cauterize, they forced the block, they forced the cloak, and then they immediately, counter pressure and kind of turn on a Laser Trick and start getting some of that pressure built. But it looks like ABC is just on the back foot right now. Dampy's going to kick in. That's definitely going to favor SJW. There's no defenses right now. There's no cloak, there's no block, there's no cauterize. The bash out on Nixie, the cap out on Daisy Duke, those double stuns right there. And it doesn't look like ABC has the counter pressure to push them off them. They're just running at them all game. Smork Nation is eating the CC like it's nothing. And Laser Chicken just keeping that Earthshield full time. It doesn't look like they have the pressure to put through. There's full sheeps on the Smork Nation. Can they follow that up with a clone? He actually decides to link there. You just knowing that this game's almost over. DJ Batman almost doomed. He's at 26% mana. He's going to have to go for a drink if they somehow want to win that game. Daisy Duke using the Temporal Shield right now, doing everything he can to survive. He's taking so much damage. It looks like a full moon came in right there, and he's going to have to retreat. They're going to have to somehow reset this game. Nixie in the middle of the map. Cloak's actually available, so he's actually not in that much trouble. But right now, they need to somehow recoup, recover, get DJ Batman some mana back, and somehow set up a CC chain to win this game. But it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult because DJ Batman has to actually run so far away. The Starfire range is just so big. He gets a few ticks here, but is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. Cloak is available for Nix. He puts in the full coil on his trinket. Daisy Duke also in that coil. It should be fine. Temp Shield's coming in a few seconds. A big Chaos Pull coming off. One going out. Second is actually locked out by Daisy Duke. Good job by him. Mana is into effect. Link is not available, but I feel like SJW should be fine as long as they can keep this game going for another minute or so. Nixie still has a cloak, as I said, and Daisy Duke has no block, so any CC or any pressure onto Daisy is going to be the game. Full blind onto Smork Nation. Moonkin God is just sitting, he's just chilling. His healer CC'd, but he doesn't care. He's just casting his 80% HP, just sitting in bear form, and taking almost no damage from this sub and Fire Mage.
That is a full CC chain out of the Smork Nation right there. That is textbook RMD gameplay, and they only got Laser Chicken to 69%. That's great Cyclone right there by DJ Batman to kind of get some, offensive pressure going on to Laser Chicken, but they just do not have enough steam to kind of push through this line of defense on SJW. They just clearly just don't have enough damage to get a kill. I don't know if they're lacking the Mortal Strike or what. It feels like their attempts are actually quite good. Smork Nation eating so much CC. Laser Chicken just standing in the face of danger with his healer and CC, just saying, I'm not afraid of you, RMD. And, this is 13% dampening. DJ Batman at 5% mana pops the Innervate, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think they're probably going to go down within the next couple minutes here. This is one last-ditch effort. They're trying to push in to get some CC. DJ Batman getting feared up right there. The kidney out on Laser Chicken. Are they going to be able to get any CC out on Smork Nation right now? The full kidney with dampening only to 76%. This RMD just has no steam left. DJ Batman can't keep them alive for much longer. I don't know if they're even going to be able to get CC. It looks like they're trying to retreat one more time. DJ Batman probably telling his DPS, I need to drink or we're going to lose the game. They just have nothing left.
He's actually be able to get the dream with a full coil. He actually decides to Trinket and Cloak at the last second. Chaos Bolt actually went through sitting on Fellfisher, and DJ Batman next, every time he tries to go for a drink, gets Starfall instantly. The Starfall range is just so huge now that it's actually very, very hard for, even with the Mage Water, to actually get ticks off. And now Nixie has no Cloak. The pressure is onto Moon King God, sitting in that bear form once again. He's going to be fine. Daisy Duke may go down, 10% health, has no block for another minute, and be a big trouble. Innovates being used onto Smork Nation should help him off. Top his team with that little extra haze. DJ Batman out of mana, should be the A-Gate game very, very shortly. Earth and Shield to kind of destroy this RMD, and they have to pull back, but they're dead. They're both dead. DJ Batman has no mana, and despite the amount of CC they could put out onto Smork Nation, it just wasn't enough to take the Moonkin God down.
I mean, after seeing that game, I actually think ABC did a great job getting their CC. I think DJ Batman did a great job keeping their team alive. And, just the icing on the cake, Smork Nation decided to sit down and get a drink when he was about a 10% mana to 50% mana, just kind of seal the deal, make sure they didn't lose that mana war. Once again, a really convincing win for SJW. I just can't see ABC, going through this powerful SJW team with no Mortal Strike. I think we're going to have to see a comp that comes out here with Mortal Strike, and they just clearly don't have the pressure. I think they're playing fantastic. I think they're getting the CC chains, but it's just not all there.
Yeah, I mean, this was a great game coming out of ABC. We saw the CC, everyone was in CC for a good 2 minutes, but the combination of kind of that Orc Relentless Shaman and just the fact that Laser Chicken moves himself over into the bear form every single time that he does get caught up in the CC, it just means that they're struggling so much to actually get the final damage that they need to get the kill every single time. This RMD getting close, but they can't quite secure it. I think going on the Shaman as well, that's the other problem, right? The Orc Relentless, once again, it mitigates those stuns so much. And even though ABC, we thought they had a good game here, we thought they had a decent game on the WMD as well, they're really struggling, and Laser Chicken is just looking completely unkillable right now. And not only is he doing such a great job defensively, he's also, every single time, like Zunyaki was saying, every single time Asgraf, who is playing the Restoration Druid in the RMD, goes for those drinks, it's just denied immediately by the Starfalls.
Yeah, absolutely. The only way for this RMD to stay in the game is to, constantly drink and reset. I feel like they can't just really go toe-to-toe anymore. Before, when Assassination was powerful, they could basically just stay in their face and just, out-pressure them. And now it's the reverse, actually, the reverse situation that is happening. Which means that the Destro Lock and Bloom can just have such constant pressure that it is almost impossible for Rogue and Mage to kind of sit in their face. Despite the amount of CC, I mean, I would say Sub Rogue and Mage probably has one of the most CC you could imagine. I'm not sure if you still have the time in CC. Counter, but Moonkin God spent 1 minute and 42 seconds in CC, and it was kind of roughly the same for the Warlock too. And despite the amount of CC, they were still able to pull out so much damage. So yeah, maybe like Sidu said, a team without Mortal Strike effect is going to be struggling, I feel like, and I think he's right. I'm not sure if an Arms Warrior would help on an Assassination Rogue. I'm sure they've tested out Assassination Rogue to know that it may not be as good anymore. So maybe that they'll try and play maybe a bit differently. Maybe have I'm not exactly sure what they're going to intend to do, but definitely, I mean, something has to definitely change rather. In order for ABC to score a kill. Yeah.
I mean, looking at that game, I was wondering if the swapping over to the, we liked the Warrior game. The Fury Warrior game did seem quite close. I was wondering if maybe they do need that MS, maybe they could try the Arms Warrior, because I know it got buffed in the recent hotfixes, of course, and people in EU are starting to pick it up as well as, I believe, NA as well. I think I saw some Maxon running it. What do you guys think about Nixie perhaps going over to the Arms Warrior?
I definitely think Arms is probably going to be from what I've seen, their best bet. Sub Rogue doesn't seem like it's going to get it done. Fury Warrior didn't seem like it's going to get it done. And, that MS with Sharp and Blade, even if they're out of CC, with that 50% healing reduction, there's a chance that, Smork Master just can't heal through the damage. DJ Batman doing a great job keeping his team offensive, using basically all of his mana, everything he has to keep them alive for as long as possible, getting great drinks off. They're just missing the pressure. They need to, kind of take a minute to figure out what they think is going to be the best to get some pressure, because defensively they're not struggling. They're surviving basically until the point, where they should be failing. So they just need to, kind of gather themselves a little bit. The game's not too far out of reach right now. They still have the comp advantage, and they still have their map pick, so they could at least take one right here. But I would definitely say I would have to go with the Arms Warrior in this next one.
Yeah, I think he either may go back to Fury, or may try some Arms Warrior. As we were saying, there's something that has to change. It feels really hard for them to get that pressure. As long as the other team just stops the CC, they actually have so many ways on top of the Shaman being relentless. It's kind of hard to get CC on him. Despite the full blinds into saps, it's just not enough. If the Boomkin can just rotate his skins, and when he doesn't have skin, try and just sit and bear for him a little bit and heal himself. The Warlock also is there to spam fear. So they have actually a lot of tools defensively in order to survive, and eventually DJ Batman and the team of ABC just could not run out of CD. So once again, curious to see what they're going to decide to pick or choose for their next matchup. So I had a question. So this is one of the very first time we've seen Resto Shamans actually in the tournaments for a long time. I would say overall they're one of the least represented, at least on EU. I'm not too sure how it is on US. How do you feel about the rest of Shaman's place in the arena right now, CD?
It feels like, they've been kind of coming and going. They were really bad at the start of the expansion. Assassination kind of hard countered them. Then Spirit Link, became super, super good, and then they kind of became super relevant again. Spirit Link got nerfed. Assassination still kind of, stepped on their toes. But now with Assassination kind of, knocked down a little bit, it actually feels like Assassination was the main spec that was keeping, Resto Shamans out of the arena, in my opinion, personally. I actually feel like Resto Shamans are great healers. They're efficient. Their cooldowns are really powerful. They have Ascendance. They have Healing Tide. They have Spirit Link. They have Earthen Shield Totem, which is that new addition of a defensive cooldown this expansion. And then for the comp that they're playing right now, that burst attempt where they actually forced Cauterize into block, into cloak, was actually Sky Fury. So Sky Fury just doing incredible work on the Chaos Bolts and the Full Moon. So I would say Resto Shamans are in a fairly good state all around. They have great throughput. They have great efficiency. They have great defensives. I think their biggest weakness is something that they've always struggled with, which is just getting trained by melee cleave.
Right. That's what I was probably thinking about. Yeah, I'm curious to see if there's a team that could potentially overcome these. I mean, this LSD2 team seems very, very strong. I'm curious to know what kind of comps they could struggle against. It feels like as long as they can survive for a good amount of time, the pressure from the Boomkin and Destro is just insane. So yeah, curious to see how they are going to match up against other comps later in the tournament. So definitely make sure you guys stick around if you guys want to see some more LSD2 action. I think we're about to go into our third game, and looks like ABC, they're down 2-0 still. They have to absolutely win this game if they want to stay in the upper bracket of the GCD tournament. So curious to see if they will decide to change comps, if they will decide to change strategies, but something has to change.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like the obvious change is the one that we kind of alluded to. Nixie Warrior has gone over to that arms specialization. So, of course, the nerf to Assassination Rogue does mean that people are kind of steering away from that. It would be interesting to see how it would perform in this tournament, but people so far haven't tried it. Arms does, of course, have the MS effect from the Model Strike. And as Sidu was alluding to as well, they do also have this Sharpen Blade talent, which reduces the healing by 50%. For 4 seconds, so it's going to be interesting to see if that's going to be enough to kind of turn the tables in this series. 2-0 in favor of Laser Chicken, Bowie, and Aristros on the LSD2. We'll have to see if the WMD can pull it back.
I would like to see ABC here kind of set the pace of the game. I want to see Nyx run in and just go for a full fear immediately, actually leaping in, trying to stop the gateway. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get it. Good reflect right there by Nyx, actually stopping that Cyclone, putting that back on a Laser Chicken. I would really like to see for him to go super hard right here in the opener, go for that full fear immediately. Laser Chicken trying to slow Nixie down. The full Sheep's actually out. Aristros in a lot of trouble, but he actually gets that Earthen Shield down before that. So unfortunately, he's probably not going to take that much damage. And it looks like they're actually going to decide to retreat, not attacking into Earthen Shield. And it looks like that gateway was actually Vortex right there. Great gameplay right there by DJ DJ Batman. Smork Nation is so much trouble right now. The wall's already up. Earthshield is not up on him, unfortunately, from what I can see. He's taking 15% more damage than he should, but interesting position right there by Smork Nation, playing near that starting zone. That was actually really well positioned.
Yeah, he actually got locked out, but he was still able to top himself, lining behind that pillar. And now the pressure is on the ABC. Armbark is used onto Nixie War. As armed, he takes less damage, but he's also not going to have that potential, that self-healing potential, rather. Now we see the sharpened blade onto Aristros. Looks like the pressure is back onto him. It was actually a nice swap onto Smork Nation. I wonder if they're going to try and go back to the Resto Champ, who has no wall right now. Astral shift still on CD for a good minute. Pressure is onto Daisy. Temp shield is used. DJ Batman seems to be doing okay with the pressure right now. Looks like he's healing through it fairly fine. I'm just curious to see what ABC is going to do with the next offensive CDs. Let's see if they decide to swap back onto Smork Nation. Let's check what they do. Colossus Smash is up. Grounding Totem is down. He's trying to go for some fakes. Not able to. Actually gets kicked for a second, but I think he's going to be fine. The nice coil, double coil on both Nixie and Daisy should put his Shaman back into full HP here.
ABC in a lot of trouble right now, but on the other side of the field, Aristros actually has no Earth Shield, he has no wall, there's no Earthen Shield available, and Daisy Duke might get that Cauterize proc. He's in so much trouble right now. He still has the Cauterize, so he's sitting the block, so for you guys that are really afraid for him, he will not die unless that Cauterize does proc. Full bash out on a DJ Batman right there. Daisy Duke in so much trouble right now. The Starfall's down, he's taking so much damage. Aristros taking so much damage on the other end. The wall is actually forced, and the Hellstone's forced, and the Mortal Strike effect seems to be working out for ABC. Even without CC, they have much more pressure, but you can kind of see they lost some stability with it. So they're trading offense for defense. I feel like that was the right decision in this situation. ABC, they have a lot of work to do right now to top their team. DJ Batman under so much pressure. The full sheep out there on Smork Nation. Aristros at half HP. And the Stormbolt coming out on Aristros. A great Cyclone right there by DJ Batman. Daisy Duke actually blocked and took it off. I must have missed that, but they're actually just going for the kill right now. The Sky Fury's down, so they're going to take some counter pressure. Half sheep right there on Smork Nation. And Aristros just kind of sitting in that Earth Shield, not taking as much damage as you would like. And great clone there by Laser Chicken, slowing down the pressure.
Yeah, both teams are playing so offensive. Here's the Nether Ward is up. He can't get CS. He's getting the Chaos Ball. The second one goes off. Sharpened Blade is used onto Richos. Smork Nation is having some big trouble to heal this pressure. But DJ Batman is running once again very low on mana. Daisy Duke has no CD. Nixie has no CD. A full stun onto Smork Nation. Daisy Duke gets beamed on the sheep. Not able to get that CC. Richos would have been in big trouble, but nice clone is going to get triggered actually. A double coil once again. Gets the spell instantly by DJ Batman, who's terribly out of mana. Full fear onto Smork Nation. The kill has to come now. The wall is used. I feel like the duel's actually popped. He's playing with that duel. The Destrolog's going to do 50% less damage to the targets other than the Warrior. DJ Batman into so much pressure. Going for the offensive clones. He has to win now. 6% HP, a DB. And they're actually going to get the kill despite being totally out of mana. I feel like that was their last chance to win as the Moonkin CD just came back off.
And that was just beautifully executed by ABC. DJ Batman has absolutely nothing left in the tank. The Innervate was used. He's just going to keep his team alive in this 2v3 situation. But for everyone who missed that, Daisy Duke actually baited the interrupt on Smork Nation with that Stormbolt, forces the beam out, and after he gets locked out, they actually just get the full CC chain starting with the Fear. He's able to sheep off that with no interrupt available, and that is just beautifully executed by ABC. As you guys can see, the Mortal Strike effect definitely worked out for him. They had so much more pressure overall throughout the course of that game, and you could see DJ Batman, really having to do a lot more work in this game. He's got a, basically essentially an extra target to heal that he has to heal for a lot more, but it worked out beautifully, and that was, great play by ABC right there. Well done by them.
Yeah, what a close one there. At the same time, SJW was so close to taking that game. DJ Batman, of course, Askraf on the Restoration Druid was completely dry at the end of that one. You can see the damage coming out of Laser Chicken, actually. He's doing double the damage of basically anyone else on the map. Certainly double of his Warlock. That's quite incredible to think about, especially since the CC coming out of the WMD is still going to be kind of devastating for him. I'll be very interested to see if they have a way of handling this Warrior Mage Druid, because it was such a close game, that one. I wonder if it's going to be enough for ABC to actually kind of reverse sweep the series or not.
I think SJW at this point, is probably pretty confident in the matchup, especially now, maybe getting a feel for it. Maybe they have better target choices and things like that. I feel like with their map advantage, I could totally see them picking the same comp. I don't think that would be stubborn or the wrong decision. It was a really close game. I mean, if they just lived that one last go, that was the last one, the game was over. DJ Batman had absolutely no mana, so I would actually be shocked to see a comp switch. We would probably see a much bigger map here, one where they could drag across, potentially Tolvaron. I'm not sure if Boomkid still has knock, it's pretty bad that I don't know that, but maybe Blade's Edge or something like that. So I could totally see the same matchup being brought out. But once again, I just want to kind of stress the importance of that Arms Warrior being down that 0-2 situation and busting that out, knowing that the Mortal Strike effect was keeping them down. So great job once again by ABC right there.
Yep, and it's like we've always said, right? Like Daisy Duke is kind of like one of these incredibly experienced, very intelligent players from Europe. He always tries to think about what will be the best strategy. He came up with some very interesting ideas during the Road to BlizzCon last year. Of course, this exact roster came just one game away, I think, or yeah, they were fourth in regionals. They were one game away in a 3-2 series against Method EU, actually, from getting to BlizzCon. So an incredibly strong team that we like. It's nice to see Nixie diversifying between those classes, playing multiple specs of the Warrior as well as the Rogue. We've also seen him on the Ellie in the past, so it's very exciting to see him multi-classing at this early stage. Great things to come from him, I'm sure, during the Road to BlizzCon. I just want to, again, shout out some of the recent donations we've received. We got a new subscriber, Colts. Thank you very much for that subscription. Very, very much appreciated 40 minutes ago. So hopefully you're still in the chat and you get to hear me say that. So thank you very much for that support. We also got a $20 donation from Gunn, who said, let's get due in the NA tourney. So thank you very much for that. Of course, we are trying to get to our $1,000 target for this event, and then we will be announcing that North American tournament, which we have scheduled for next month. So very excited for that. I hope you guys are as well. We're really looking forward to seeing the North American scene, how it's developed over the last couple of months. We also got a $10 donation from Victor Sanctum. He said, we love to see Warcraft PvP leagues again. A big thanks to Healingstat, Chuck Dooland, and NG Zinyaki for casting Victor's Sanctum there. Thank you very, very much for that $10 donation. We also got a resubscriber for 23 months, or 23 years, as Twitch chat loves to quote it as, ValenXZZ, or sorry, ValenZXX, 23 months. Thank you very much for that resubscription. That is a really long time. That's 2 years. I don't know if we've got anyone longer than that. That's basically since the start of GCD TV. So thank you so much for that extended support. The consistency really, really helps us. We're going to go over to Match Arena now. We do have one huge donation towards the prize pool directly on Match Arena as well. Trail X has donated $60, and he says, love the tournaments, looking forward to more. So thank you so much. Of course, all this money will be going directly towards the tournament, either this one, if we don't get to our $1,000 minimum, or going towards future events such as this North American one, which we will be announcing shortly. So thank you so much, everyone, for the support. We're waiting for the map choice actually from ABC, or sorry, the map choice from SWJ right now to get into this fourth game. It is currently 2-1 in favor of Social Justice Warriors in this game. What do you guys think? We've been touching on this series a little bit. Who do you think is going to take this one now that ABC have taken back this final game?
I think it's really difficult to say. I mean, that game was so close. I personally feel like Ash Mains isn't a favored map for either of those teams. It's kind of like the Grand almost. Fairly well balanced. It's just a smaller version of Tolvaron. So I wouldn't be surprised to not see a comp change here from SJW. I think their comp is really good, but maybe they're going to just, try and abuse a better map for them. I'm kind of seeing Tolvaron, them just playing really far back, making their warrior push out really, really far in the middle of the map. If Daisy Duke wants to get CC, push him out really far in the middle of the map. And of course, DJ Batman, if he wants to try and get any of those offensive clones, which he did such a good job with last game, he would be fully exposed to get CC'd himself, or, maybe even swap to. So my guess is that same comp, Tolvaron Arena. I don't know if ABC can kind of overcome that, but I think it's definitely possible. So.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard. Like it was the last game. They were able to pull it through. I believe Smart Nation, correct me if I'm wrong, still had a link available. Just wasn't able to get it off in time just because of that constant cross. You see, we saw the DR clones into the DR DB, the DR bash. Everything came out onto Smoke Nation to deny the DB. They knew at this time that as long as he didn't get the link off, they could potentially get a kill, and that's what happened. And if he did get the link, I think the game would have been over. I mean, they were totally out of mana, and I feel like a warrior and a mage cannot reset as much as a rogue can. The rogue can kind of step back way more easily than a warrior can leap back in and out. So resetting seems to be way harder, I guess, for that team. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen on this map. I feel like the map pick of these LSD2 is going to favor them way better, since it's probably going to be either Blaze Edge or Tolveron. So either of these maps are such a huge advantage for double casters in general. So it's definitely going to be tough for ABC, but I feel like they have what it takes to get the win here against this very powerful LSD.
Yep, for sure. Definitely excited to see if they're going to be able to do that. We actually have a composition swap from ABC, which is kind of surprising to me, although the last game was incredibly close, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. I won't spoil it before we get into the game. We should be able to queue these teams up momentarily. Looks like we are going to be ready to do this one. Game 4, of course, 2-1 in favor of Social Justice Warriors. This is the upper bracket right now. If we just have a little look over at that right now. Oh, maybe not. Let's try that one more time. So we have a little look over at the brackets here. Of course, it's 2-1 right now in favor of Social Justice Warriors. If they win this, they will be through to the upper bracket final, guaranteed some of that prize pool by getting the top 3 finish. ABC won't be out of it either way, but we are ready to get into the game right now. It's going to be Blaze Edge Arena for Game 4 of this series. This could potentially be the final game if SJW can secure it.
So it looks like Nyx is actually going to swap back to the Fury Warrior right here, which is, kind of mind-blowing to me. The first game just seemed so unconvincing for them, and even though they lost some defense for that pressure on Ashmane's fall, they actually had the chance to win. So how do you feel about this, Zuni? I just don't know. I'm kind of baffled right now. Maybe you know something I don't.
No, I think it just has to do with it's just his personal opinion. He probably thinks Fury is just better. Maybe he probably felt like the game was simply too close last game, and he's like, okay, maybe if we play Fury Mage again, we can like try and play better like we did in the last game. And maybe they just weren't convinced of their performance in the first game, and they feel like they can just do better on this map. So we'll have to see. I think Fury is still very strong, has some crazy burst. We'll see if it's going to be enough to win this game against this powerful LC2.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. I want to see if they go ahead and try and start on Smork Nation again. They actually started really hard on him last game with no Earth Shield. Clone up on Laser Chicken right there. I'm not really sure who they're trying to set up on. It looks like maybe they're trying to go for a Ring of Frost. Looks like that gets Windshield shut down by Smork Nation, followed by a Hex. That may have been blinked. The full Sheep goes on Smork Nation, so great use of that blink mechanic to immune that Hex and get the Sheep out. And it looks like they're going to go on Aristros right now. The wall's popped and doesn't look they have too much pressure right now. And that is the full CC chain on Smork Nation. He's going to follow that up with a Fear. The wall's actually fading on Aristros right now, so he's going to start taking loads of damage. He actually decides to use that Pet Shield, which is going to give him a little bit of absorb. And he's actually out of defensives, and Nyx War losing the exchange with that full CC on Smork Nation. Laser Chicken just going absolutely nuts. The whole team of ABC down below 50%. What is this damage?
Yeah, it looks like Smork Nation is actually not playing grounding. He's playing that extra, I forgot the name, maybe you can tell me after this. He's not, Electrocute, yeah, he's actually Electrocute. He's actually purging Nixie War so much. He dropped to 10%. Earthen Shield is down, and now the team of ABC doesn't have any offensive real pressure. Actually, Original's dropping to 40%, but Smork Nation is free casting. Actually gets Sheep, but unfortunately, a clone is overlapped onto Originals at the same time. He's actually going to be topped off as he gets his Chaos Bolt full clone onto DJ Batman X, and the cooldowns of the Fury Warrior are slowly coming back off. Original's under so much pressure still, despite no MS effect. 35%. This artifact from the Fury Warrior is just insane. Executor coming in, he actually has to link. The pressure from Nixie is just insane this game.
That's actually really surprising to me right there. Great pressure by ABC. They forced a link through the wall of Aristro. So, ABC still holding on to that Cauterize and the Ice Block. They're actually in a great position right now. DJ Batman, following up with clones on Smork Nation. Is the poly off DR? We're going to have to see. Great clone right there by Laser Chicken onto Daisy Duke to try and deny some of that pressure and that CC. And a beautiful Cyclone right there from DJ Batman onto Aristros. But once again, unfortunately, overlapped with a Sheep. Just bad timing. Aristros actually, not going to take too much damage. Re-Sheep right there by Smork Nation. And Laser Chicken, beautiful clone on DJ Batman to prevent the Cyclone onto Smork Nation. And Daisy Duke actually decides to go with a DB right there. And a bash from DJ Batman blinking into Smork Nation. Aristros just taking so much damage right now. I don't know if Smork Nation is going to be on top. This third shield goes down. There's no Mortal Strike effect. Smork Nation actually struggling so much trying to fake that interrupt. And it looks like he actually did fake the interrupt right there. Great jobs by Smork Nation. Aristros would have absolutely went down if he didn't fake that interrupt. So great awareness right there by him. And they actually survived the assault right now. But, they're not done. Full Sheep out onto Smork Nation. Great beam right there from Laser Chicken trying to shut down some of those Cyclones. And it looks like SJW is finally getting their footing back. The CC's falling off, and ABC's kind of falling apart right here.
Yeah, the CC chain is finally over onto Smork Nation. DG Batman is gonna try and slowly recover his team. I feel like the fact that he doesn't have grounding is the reason why they actually have so much pressure. Daisy just is getting these sheeps kind of like as soon as there's no interrupt, he just freely gets these sheeps. So he has the electrocute, but he hasn't been able to purge too much, and he's actually costing the game 40%. Full clone out to Moon King God. Ritual's dropping down. I don't think he's playing port. He's playing core, so he can't even get back up. Nether Ward, full clone out to Smork Nation. The execute is going to finish off Rituals, and wow, what an amazing pressure from this team. And I'm not sure if you would say I think grounding just made the whole difference, but I feel like maybe if you had grounding, you could avoid more CC rather than have the extra damage from the purge.
Yeah, grounding, not choosing grounding there to me definitely seems, very questionable. I think that they're definitely advantaged in the long game. So playing, electrocute, trying to get some of that extra pressure, maybe get the win early on, which they almost did, definitely something we're going to have to look at and maybe consider a mistake in that game. Grounding maybe to shut down some of those clones or sheeps would have been fantastic. But, excellent play there from ABC. Really shocked to see the Fury Warrior again after losing that first game. And I said it was unconvincing for them to win. And that game, they actually looked like they were in complete control. In the opener, they actually all kind of dipped down. DJ Batman probably used some cooldowns like Tranquility, top them back up, no problem. And from that point forward, it actually looked like, they were just dominating that game, even with a couple, mistimed sheeps with the clone on their kill target. It just seemed like they actually had complete control. It felt like the LSD2 was just on the back foot the entire game. I must say that thinking about it now, Blade's Edge is actually, even though it was SJW's map choice, it's so easy for them to get CC on the rest of Shaman because there's nowhere to line. So they were just able to push up on him the entire game and just kind of, get some unrelenting CC chains on him that essentially just led to Aristra's, death. So great job by ABC.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Like, what do you think they have to change up in this next game? Do you think it can all be attributed to that one talent choice, not playing the grounding totem, or do you think there's more that Social Justice Warriors can do? Because of course they were 2-0 up in this series, and now ABC have kind of found a new leash on life, tying back up 2-2. If they win this next game, they will progress to the upper bracket final. So, what do you think they have to change up to stop that from happening?
I just feel like they maybe underestimated ABC a little bit. That's why he say, okay, I'm gonna play Electrocute now. We're just they didn't do too much damage. I don't think they're gonna get too much CC on me anyways. But he was proven wrong, and I feel like kind of that got the most out of him. And actually, I feel like one of the reasons ABC was able to get that much pressure is the amount of sheeps they got. Every time, as we were saying, there was no interrupts. He just pushes in, hasn't have to deal with grounding. Even just gets like a Nova sheep is enough. As long as there's no in the wind shear, the Shaman can't really do anything about it. And that's what cost them the game. So I feel like they actually got a bit surprised, the team of SJW, this last game. We'll see what they can do. I feel like Moon King God may have to maybe spam more clones on the warrior. The Fury warrior damage is just non-stop. He has almost 100% uptime, as we were saying, which means, and on top of that, he's actually healing himself. He's basically doing the most. He's almost out damaging a Moonkin, which is crazy. He did 18 million damage, while the Moonkin did 20 million damage, which is also, AoE damage, of course. So a Fury Warrior doing almost the same as a Moonkin is kind of crazy, and that's hitting into an Earth Shield, that's hitting into an Earthen Shield, and into the occasional walls from the Destro Warlock. So I think the SJW might be against the wall right now, and they have to figure something out if they want to overcome this Fury Warrior Fire Mage comp.
Yeah.
Does SJW have any other comps they can run, or is this just kind of it for them?
I mean, we've never really seen them on other classes, so I'm not really sure if they do have anything else.
I'm not even convinced that a comp swap is what they need. The first two games they just look so dominant, and I'm not sure if maybe ABC wasn't playing up to par. But the next two games, game 3 and 4, where they came up and tied this series, they've just been playing absolutely incredible. I'm still just so shocked with that Fury decision. Nixie playing ARMS and actually winning the game on Ashmane's fall, and then deciding to go back to Fury after already losing with it. Obviously, he knows something I don't, so great choice by them right there. We're gonna have to see what happens in this game. I think that it was a combination of Blade's Edge with no grounding, why Smork Nation got CC'd so much. I think that map actually kind of bit them pretty bad. So I'm gonna have to say that was probably a pretty poor map choice. They probably thought they'd have a lot more pressure than they did, and ABC was just able to take complete control of this game. On Tovaron Arena here, I expect Smork Nation to, essentially almost never be CC'd. I would be really surprised if he decided to take Electrocute again, because I feel like they win this long game. So I think it's kind of on ABC to set the pace of this game. I think, they're definitely on the timer. DJ Batman's mana pool is just a ticking time bomb. Once he runs out, they are going to explode. So we're going to have to see what ABC does here, what the target choice is, how they're going to start this game off. But definitely look to ABC to kind of start the pressure early on in this game.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're getting into Game 5 here. This is going to be Tolveron Arena for the final game of this series. Of course, we have Nixie Warrior on the Fury Warrior, Daisy Duke, and DJ Batman is going to be Askrab on the Resto Druid, going up against Bowie on that Restoration Shaman, Laser Chicken on Moonkin God, and Aristros on the Destro Warlock.
Yeah, they actually denied the gateway instantly with that, I think it was a CS from Daisy Duke, but instant coil. It looks like he's actually not going to try to get another gateway. He's just going to start casting Incinerate, full bash onto nothing. Actually, DR Clone's going to be landing on the Smork Nation. Definitely look out for the Warrior CDs. Nixie, when he pops that Avatar, combined with the Artifact and the Recklessness, is insane amount of pressure. There's a full sheep onto Smork Nation already. Cooldowns are being popped by Nixie War, wall by Erythros, a nice cooldown reaction here. He should be fine as long as they can stop the re-CC. The re-poly is not being stopped. I think he's on DR, on clones. They should be fine. They will see the sack pack use. A big 1 million absorb should be fine as long as Smork Nation can cast these heals onto him.
Yeah, and it looks like they actually locked out that Cyclone there that would have been on Smork Nation, so great job by Aristro shutting that down. And a clone on Nixie who decides to trinket immediately, and the link was actually forced. This pressure from ABC is definitely mounting on the SJW side. The whole team at 50%, Smork Nation in full sheep. There's no wall available. Aristro's actually at 44% right now. Smork Nation followed up with a bash. They shut down the Cyclone. Great job right there by Laser Chicken to shut that down. A short fear followed up by the short ring. Aristro's in so much trouble right now. He uses the reflect. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but Smork Nation's coming out at CC. There's no link available right now. It looks like he actually has to deal with the CS. He does get locked down. That's going to be the game. Great lockout there by Daisy Duke, shutting Smork Nation down. And what an immense amount of pressure coming out onto Aristros from Nixie and Daisy Duke. That game was that was insane. The pressure was just, it was there the whole game, start to finish. What was the difference between this game and the Grand? How did that not happen on the Grand? That was unbelievable amounts of pressure.
That was crazy, and I'm not sure. Erythros actually decided to play Curse of Weakness to reduce some of that Warrior's physical damage, but not a chance. That didn't change anything to the game. Weakness, 25% less damage on the Warrior CDs, still chunked through it like it was nothing. Moonkin God and the Smork Nation had to basically use all their defensive cooldowns. I mean, Smork Nation had to use his link so early on in the game tree. I think he tried to link a sheep, and still wasn't enough. Diggy just being able to kind of play really offensive, push in, get that TC going. Lock down Erythros completely, and Erythros couldn't do anything this game. He was just under so much pressure.
Yeah, what a comeback from ABC as well. Like Nixie Warrior coming back onto the Warrior from the Rogue, 2-0 down in this series. It takes so much mental fortitude to come back. I mean, both of you guys have probably been in tournament situations where you have been behind and you've been able to turn it around, so you can probably talk to this a little bit more, but it's just, what a series coming out there. I can't believe ABC were able to turn that around, especially with Nixie swapping back over to that ult. Like, beautiful play from this team.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the difference was between that game and the Grand Arena, because in the Grand Arena they definitely didn't look like they were shook. They didn't look like they were playing bad as a team. You definitely saw CC go out and Smork Nation. Maybe it was just DJ Batman was playing a little bit more aggressive. Maybe he thought maybe he could outlast him and he was playing too passive on the Grand, because he was getting great offensive cyclones when he needed them. He was pushed up right in their face. The pressure just never stopped. That was just such a difficult game for SJW. It felt like their Shaman was always in CC. Felt like they were always under pressure and they just couldn't get him off.
Yeah, as you said, that could be the main difference. Maybe the fact that DJ Batman, that is Athgaras, is able to, maybe push for more Cyclones means that he has to get CS more, and that maybe leaves Daisy Duke open to also get CC more easily. If you have to lock out the clones, Destro Warlocks do have 2 CSs, but if the Warlocks the second one only has, or has rather, a 1.5 minute CD. So if he's forced to CS and beam the clones, then Daisy may be able to sheep more freely, and I think that's what might have happened. Daisy Duke was just able to actually get sheeps almost on cooldowns, I would say, off DR rather, and that's what kind of made it. Just gave them that huge amount of pressure. Daisy Duke still did a lot of damage, but it's once again Nixie just doing more damage than the Moonkin, doing 10 million damage in about 2 minutes of the game. That is just crazy. On top of that Curse of Weakness, which actually reduced all of his damage. Not sure if he was getting decursed, but the pressure from ABC is very, very strong, and I think a lot of people are going to be maybe wanting to start playing that Fury Warrior Mage, which seems really powerful.
Yeah, that's what you see from these tournaments, right? Like people would kind of pick up what does successful in the tournament, and then you'll see it on the ladder. So I really like the WMD comp as well. So I really do hope that it gets picked up. I think it's quite an exciting comp to play and to play against. Anyway, so with that reverse sweep completed from ABC, we can go over to the brackets now. Have a little look where that leads us. ABC have locked in their place in that top 3 spot in the upper bracket final right now. You can see them sitting there pretty. Of course, we don't have social justice warriors aren't out of it yet. They are going to go down to that lower bracket. They'll be fighting against Cavi's team or Thuringa Closer later in the day. We're going to be moving on now to our next series, which is going to be Northern Gaming Blue, which we already saw today win 3-1 over that German team. And they're going to be going up against Enjoy Legion in this next series. So I believe Enjoy Legion is actually Jamie's team. So that's going to be Jamie, Zonica, and Swapexy. And now we've seen these players in previous GCDs. Swapsy, of course, we know, 2 times BlizzCon champion, phenomenal player. Jamie as well, big multi-class of multiple rank 1 titles. And Zonica, of course, he is the defending champion. He won the GCD in January for Europe. So with a different team, granted, with Warwick and FedEx, but he's back with a new roster. What do you guys think of this particular matchup?
I mean, all 3 of those names, definitely big names from both teams. Zonica, Jamie, Swapsy, and I believe you said NG Blue, right?
Yep.
So NG Blue coming out strong in their first series. I believe it was a 3-1 win. Minpoike surviving at basically nothing. I don't really know too much about Jamie because I feel like he plays Enhancement Shaman. From what I understand, Swapsy plays Enhancement Shaman. What are the comps that they're going to be looking to run?
So from what I've seen them play in the last few days rather, they have actually been playing a few different comps. I would say Donica is mainly known for his Holy Paladin and his Resto Shaman. He also plays a bit of Resto Druid, so a combination of, I would say, either Holy Pally or Resto Druid is what he's going to be playing. Swapexy is himself plays actually a lot of Warlock and Hunter lately, I think. So you might see that combination of classes coming in. And as for Jamie, of course, as you said, Enhanced Shaman, Ellie Shaman probably too. And I think he plays also his DK, so we might see some PhD, something like this. We might see some Ellie Demo, Ellie Destro. That is also a combination that is plausible. So it's going to be hard to predict what they're going to play, but they actually have a lot of comp they can run, I think.
Yeah, NG Blue definitely going to be in a tough situation with this one. All those comps you just named, they must just be completely baffled right now with what they're going to run. So I'm sure they're just probably going to open up with the best comp that they think they can beat everything with, which is probably just their sub RMD. I'm not sure if Minpoike's team has anything else up their sleeves, maybe Minpoike on a different healer, but I would definitely like to see him on that Resto Druid, definitely known for his Resto Druid gameplay, phenomenal Resto Druid. So probably going to see that RMD, and for what Enjoy Legion's going to be, I have absolutely no idea. So it's really hard to predict this one.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. That's one of the big advantages you have when you have Swapsy in the team, right? It's just that he plays basically all the DPS classes other than mages. He was dubbed the anti-mage in the build-up to BlizzCon. So
Right.
everything other than that, though, he's just so apt on. He plays it so well, and you never really know exactly what you're fighting against. He always has a way of surprising you, whereas they know pretty much. Like 80% they're going up against the RMD, right? So that's like such a big advantage. I mean, you guys both played in this year's Road to BlizzCon, where there's a lot of kind of mind games going on with what the enemy team's going to play. Like, what kind of effect do you think that has on the series?
Well, for our comp, we weren't sure what they were going to run, which put us obviously in a really difficult decision. I feel like the biggest problem for us is we didn't know what beat what at BlizzCon. We weren't sure if they ran X, if we could play Y. So it really put us in a tricky spot. So obviously we just played the comp that we had the most success with. Unfortunately, they just kind of shut us down. So kind of knowing from experience here, Swapsy, I wouldn't be surprised if he was the healer in this next game. Like, he could just probably log on anything and be successful with it. So I'm sure NG Blue probably isn't sweating it too much. I think they're just going to say, you know what, we're going to RMD. As soon as we see what we get while we're in the gates, we'll talk about our strategy. Maybe they're kind of, going over some basic guidelines for what they should do if it's, specific comps. But other than that, I'm pretty sure NG Blue is probably calm, cool, collected right now. All really, really experienced players. Enjoy Legion, I would definitely say, has the upper hand going into this match, personally, just because of the blind pick. So hopefully they kind of come out, start the game off fast, start the pace of the game. But we'll definitely have to see how this one goes.
Yeah, I'm predicting from what I've heard. I heard that Sub RMD has some troubles against PhD, and that is the Druid version. I know we saw Kavix playing the Paladin version. It was very strong. The rest of Druid might be a bit better because I'm not sure if you can actually pressure a Druid as much as you can pressure a Paladin. You know, a Paladin, as soon as you're on him as a sub rogue and a mage, you have to, you can also say you can spell Seal of Divine Favor. You have 2 kicks. You have so many tools, but a druid can kind of survive way more easily than a paladin can. Doesn't have to rely too much on casting, can maybe kite a bit more. So that could be an option. And we're going on to the first game, Nagarin Arena. So we're going to have the answer for you guys just right now on what these teams will be playing. And yep, should be interesting to see as soon as I get in.
It looks like you actually called that one. They're actually playing the same comp that Northern Gaming just beat, except with the Resto Druid instead of the Holy Paladin. And I must say that's probably a much better decision. Both Resto Druids deciding to play Vim and Vigor here. We'll see if they actually decide to get punished for that. Zonica, though, deciding to play Trinket against Sub RMD, that is something that could definitely come back to bite him. There's so much CC in this game that he may really regret not playing that Relentless. And also, Trinket doesn't line up with Blind anymore. The blind cooldown is about 1:30, so if Waz starts his game off with an early blind and Zonica decides to Trinket 1:30 later, they can actually be in loads of trouble. So definitely going to have to see how Enjoy Legion plays this game. We're going to have to see them try and burn that adaptation really quickly on Minpoike. We'll see if they try and expose this Vim and Vigor, kind of like the last team did, but this is definitely going to be a great game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has Trinket. It shows on mine he has Relentless, but maybe he decided to pick Trinket the last after the gate open. Anyways, we'll see if this RMD can get any kind of CC in the opener. We'll see if the DNDs and the Flare are going to pop this Rogue and Mage that is Waz and Marrow playing that. And the nice DND, Waz gets pulled out, steps into instantly, actually gets the sap anyways onto Xonica, opening it onto Swapixy, that is Jazz, me, and MC. Royal Sacrifice is forced. Look at that, swapping onto Xonica right now. A similar strat as they were doing against Cavi earlier. Actually deciding not to skin, Overgrowth only, and see if it's going to be clepted off. It looks like not for now, and a nice AMD on that Combust is going to deny any pressure from the Fire Mage.
Definitely shut down that opener right there, and actually Zonica is playing that Relentless spec, so I think that is a better choice for him. And they survived that CC chain pretty easily. This is definitely a lot different game than the Holy Paladin. The full blind comes out on Zonica. They're trying to get some counter pressure. The sheep on Jazz. I guess the kill target is going to be Kin. Actually deciding to go Zonica after that blinding him and caster form. I think that was a great play from Waz right there, forcing the skin out. So there's no Trinket. He's playing the Relentless. There's no Bark skin. Look for a hard swap back to Zonica when they get the opportunity. They're definitely doing a great job keeping that Vim and Vigor off, reducing that Druid healing, and they're going to hard swap to Jazz right now. There's no CC right now, unfortunately, on Zonica. The Vim and Vigor is back up. He's doing fantastic healing, but on the other end of the map, Minpoike is actually getting getting hit right now. His Vim and Vigor is going to fall off, so the whole team in Northern Gaming down right now, and it looks like Enjoy Legion's kind of controlling the pace of the game right now. It looks like Northern Gaming actually can't get the CC they want.
Yeah, and Xonica is popping that tree form right now, so he should be able to top his team back off. We see that the pressure is still onto Poike, and interestingly enough, actually we see a full kidney onto Xonica. Look at the pressure is still onto him, but the tree form should top his team, as I was saying back off. Pressure onto Poike. A stun is coming soon. Asphyxia is coming soon from Jamie. That is the Death Knight on the Enjoy Legion team. And it's interesting enough, Jay-Z and MC Swapixy is playing Diamond Eyes. You can see on the mage right now, which means he does not have his trap is actually undispellable, but only lasts a few seconds, and I think that's his kind of playstyle that he wants to use. He wants to peel this RMD long enough for them to win. Nice sounds onto Mara right now. Look at the pressure is onto Jazz and MC full Kinney onto Xonica. I'm not sure if they're going to try and rotate the CC. They're actually swapping him, forcing the skin. Poike has the skin at the same time. Soul Reaper is up. Instantly dispel. Great job by him.
It looks like Northern Gaming is going to be going on Zonica over and over. They forced that skin once again. The tree form actually prevented the last swap, so he has no skin right now. He's playing the Relentless. He has no Trinket. They're going to look to go back to Zonica, but on the other end of the field, they're taking so much damage on Northern Blue side. Minpoike doing a great job keeping him alive right now, but it actually looks like Enjoy Legion's trying to slow this game down a little bit, and I think they're almost planning to dampen right now. That the mana is pretty even right now on both healers. A full sheep right there on Zonica gets caught in caster form. Great job by Marrow, and it looks like Enjoy Legion's actually just going to head over to actually, it looks like they're on Marrow right here. On Marrow in the middle of the map, they have no CC on Minpoike. It feels like Minpoike actually hasn't gotten CC'd in quite a bit of time. His his adaptation's almost up in 30 seconds, and they're doing quite a bit of damage right now to Jazz, but there's no Bark skin available, and Zonica actually pre-bear forms that blind, making sure he's not going to get swapped to. I assume that they're just going to go for the sap off this, but they kind of wasted the last go. The skin's going to be available, but it looks like they're actually forcing to go for Turtle right here on Jazz. The whole team in Northern Gaming Blue, even with that CC chain, in so much trouble right now. Crit Fevers are starting to stack up. Minpoike trying to keep himself alive, knowing that Marrow has the cauterize and the block. So he's actually trying to prioritize himself. He's trying to get that Vim and Vigor back up so he gets 20% healing. There's so much damage right now coming out from Enjoy Legion. Actually decides to trap Marrow low, who trinkets it. He would have been immune to healing right there. So great trinket right there by Marrow. That was really important. They're starting to slow the pace of the game down right now a little bit. It was a clone on the Jazz, a full bash on the Kin right now, a clone off that great CC by NG Blue. The cauterized procs, even with all his CC, the Kidney over on the Zonica, and it actually looks like Northern Blue, even though they're taking quite a bit of damage, they're starting to get their footing back in this game.
Yeah, it looks like they're falling slowly behind. Interestingly enough, Poike is actually Jazzy. I'm seeing there's a DR Kenny may not be able to deter 30%. It gets the Torns. It was going to take a lot of damage, but gets Diamond Ice on top of it. Acceleration is not available, but the turtle is. Pressure seems to be onto Wasp for now, and Poike is actually not playing the bear affinity, which means the Guardian affinity. Sorry, which means he's taking a lot of damage if they go on him. But the pressure's onto Mara right now. Has no block, has no cauterize. Any CC onto Poike might be the game, and he's also dangerously running out of mana. Can you to Xonica, let's see if they can get any CC. Roth is going to get interrupted by Jamie. Full clone though by Poike, playing really offensive, trying to get that aspect of the turtle onto Swapixy the Hunter. Pressure on the other side is onto Poike. They're trying to punish him from his offensive Displacer Beast, and looks like he's going to be fine just now, but mana may be an issue for Poike.
Is very, very right now. He doesn't have that Vim and Vigor, so he's unfortunately doing 20% less healing just because he's missing 3% health. If he could just top himself over 80%, it would help so much. No adaptation available on Minpoike right now. He's put into a full stun. There's no block on Marius, and he's in so much trouble. I don't know if Minpoike has enough gas to keep him alive. 6%, 10%. He's just bounced up and down, and surely he will go down. Minpoike just didn't have any mana left. This game was so difficult for them. I must say that it didn't seem like Vim and Vigor was the right decision here. They constantly swapped him Minpoike. They took advantage of him playing Vim and Vigor. They always kept him under 80%, and I assume that Minpoike is going to be changing that next game. But the question is, does he have enough throughput without Vim and Vigor to keep his team alive? You know, that's definitely a risky decision. I think that was flawlessly executed right there by Enjoy Legion. They did exactly what they wanted to. They went in there with the game plan, and it worked. They knew that they could win the long game if they just kind of bounced around and prevented CC. Zonica did a great job preventing swaps, and unfortunately, it just feels like they kind of rotted out.
Yeah, what a game coming out of both teams there, honestly. I really like the Diamond Ice trap coming out of Swapsy. That seemed like it was so, like Zuni said, it was exactly his playstyle. He was just, whenever he wanted to, he doesn't have to think about cross-controlling the Druid because it basically makes the trap underspellable in exchange for it being a couple of seconds shorter. So he could trap anyone whenever. He doesn't have to worry about it breaking, doesn't have to worry about dispel, as I said. So it was just so good for that defensive gameplay. And then, yeah, like Zidu was saying, the Vim and Vigor on Minpoike, they just kept swapping over to him, and he couldn't quite get the benefit out of that talent choice. So fantastic play coming out of Jamie, Zonica, and Swapixy in game one. They are going to take Nagrand Arena. We'll have to see what the map choice is from Northern Gaming. What do you guys think they should take it to?
I'm not sure if the map would actually change too much. Of course, we can think of Tolveon just because it may be harder for them to get onto Poike perhaps. Like I was saying the last game, Poike was actually, I don't think he expected them to go on him at all. He was playing Moonkin Affinity on top of Vim and Vigor, so definitely didn't expect to be the target. I'm curious to see if he's actually going to decide to swap that up. Maybe either the Vim or one of the affinities, because him being the target actually drains a lot of his mana too. He doesn't have the damage reduction, doesn't have the frenzied regen from that Guardian affinity. So I'm just wondering if he's gonna be deciding to swap that up. And yeah, it looks like map it's probably gonna be Tol Veron. That should. I'm not sure. I guess that gives him an advantage, so to speak. Might be harder to get to Xonica too because the map is so much bigger. And yeah, I think Northern Gaming did pretty good overall. It's just really hard to get CC against a DK and a Hunter, or it's just like the DK is almost free constantly. He can basically just AMS whatever he want, or at the times he wants to. He can trinket, or actually probably didn't play trinket, but he's free, so it's kind of hard to cross CC both targets and get CC on the Druid at the same time. You have to stop the Hunter from interrupting. You have to stop the DK from either gripping or kicking. And that. Those combinations are kind of hard to do, even for, I would say, a sub-RMD, and eventually they just ran out of cooldowns and didn't even force the aspect of the turtle from Swapixy.
Yeah, my biggest concern going into this next game is Minpoike's mana. I'm not sure how he's going to play or how he's going to spec to try and prevent him from going so quickly. There's so much damage. I definitely would be really surprised if he actually decided to play Vim and Vigor again, unless he wanted to completely change his positioning, never be a swap target, never go for those offensive clones. But I can't see Minpoike being able to play that way and then being able to win that game. He definitely needs to be in their face somehow, getting those Cyclones. He did a great job last game. Unfortunately, it cost him probably quite a bit of mana for being a swap target. But I would think that we're going to see... is it possible even in a renewal, or do you think he wouldn't have the throughput if he didn't play Defender of the Week? Because that would actually be one way to kind of conserve mana if they're hitting him quite a bit.
Yeah, maybe if he does play in a renewal, they wouldn't ever touch him. There's a lot of players that like to, abuse, or not abuse, but
Take advantage.
take advantage. Yeah, thank you for playing Vim. And I feel like if he doesn't play Vim, they may not even touch him. I'm not quite sure, but I feel like that's a plausible option. I haven't seen too many Residue play inner renewal and threes. It could be an option if he's often the target and does go but my choice is probably going to be for the Defender of the Week here. But then again, he might just try to, just balls it and still play with the Vim and Viger, and just maybe he wants them to go on it. Maybe that's something he's comfortable with. Maybe he wants the opposing team to actually go on him with a Vim. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting decision here. I'm sure after playing that last game, he's got a much better feel for what's going to happen this game in terms of how he's going to position, how he's going to use his cooldowns. Probably wasn't expecting to get attacked last game, so even if he decides to play the same spec, it may not be a mistake. He may just kind of go into it with a different mindset on how he's going to play. I think last game, Enjoy Legion did a fantastic job. I'm not sure what NG Blue can kind of do to, take advantage of, what comp they're playing, how to get more CC. I feel like they started doing better towards the end when they started hitting Hunter more and seeing Zonica. It didn't feel like the swaps to them were actually ever going to kill him. On one swap, they actually forced skin and they weren't able to go back before the skin was up, so it almost feels like a wasted swap at that point. So going to be pretty interesting to see how NG Blue decides to play this next game.
Yeah, it's just really hard for them to do anything. It's obviously, Jamie doing a good job. Every time there's a combustion, instant AMZ, and that basically just denies 60% of the mage's burst. 60% of his damage is basically negated by that AMZ, and I think a little bit of the sub rogue is also magical. So it definitely stops almost all offensive pressure for at least one go. And as you were saying, the Drizz are just so tanky against sub rogue, especially if he can pre-bear from a go, or if he can just has skin for their offensive pushes, and when he doesn't, they can rotate it with a Ross or something. They have a lot of tools at their disposal to stop that RMD's pressure, and I feel like as long as they rotate it and live for long enough like they did in the first game, they'll probably win the second game.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Does AMZ share the same tree as Dark Simulacrum?
Yes.
Because interesting choice to see, I guess I'm calling him Kin, K-N-N. Kin play AMZ, and the other Death Knight was playing Dark Simulacrum, and he was doing a fantastic job stealing spells, but, two of the same clashes with much different playstyles and a much different outlook on the game. I assume one would just say, AMZ's better, because if they survive, they're going to win eventually. And it actually looks like we're going to have a spec change here. Waz playing Assassination. I think Assassination is probably actually really powerful against the Resto Druid as opposed to Holy Pally, so I feel like this is a good change. What do you think?
It could definitely be a factor. I think that the first game was really tough for them. As we were saying, they didn't even get that turtle. But look, as I see Jazzy MC as Swap XC on the Hunter is playing Mending Bandage. He's going to be removing these poisons on top of the bleeds. And I think he's going to have the same playstyle. As you were saying, Jamie not playing Dark Sim, maybe playing the AMZ. They want that long game. They want to play a long game and just Poikin. As we were discussing a bit earlier, still playing that Vim and Viger. So I'm curious to see what the play style and the strategy of Enjoy Legion is going to be. Are they going to go in for Poikin once again? We'll have to see.
Yeah, he must definitely think he doesn't have the healing throughput without Vim, so probably going to try and do a better job not being swapped to. Immediately trap on Waz, knocking him out of stealth. Great job right there by Jazz, and it looks like their opening pressure is just completely gone. This is what RMD kind of relies on, getting that momentum and rolling with it, but they're going to roll over to Jazz right here anyway. No CC on Zonica. Are we going to go for a blind or something? Jazz down to 50%. The Vendetta is used. Immediately AMZ, great job right there. Full blind onto Zonica. He actually decides to trinket that. He's going to line that cooldown up with blind every single time. Half trap on Waz right there. It looks like this RMD pressure is getting shut down a little bit. The Vendetta is coming to an end, and it looks like Enjoy Legion's going to try and take the upper hand here.
Yeah, DK Apocalypse artifact has been used, but not too much pressure on Tomorrow. Poke putting the thorns on himself, not making him a swap target. Gazan is actually killing himself. He decides to go for Poke, so he's swapping up immediately to Amaro. And Zonica now doesn't have any bark. He's popping the tree form. Good choice. Actually gets skinning on his tree form. Decides to skin on top of that. I think it was a nice swap because Zonica was basically going to be topping his team. A nice sheep onto Jasmine. He's going to be dispelled by Zonica. And the pressure is on to Enjoy Legion for now. I feel like until that tree form fades out, his team should be fine as actually pressure is onto Waz at the same time, decides to not evasion for now. Poke free healing right now with a Soul of the Forest. Should be able to top Waz slowly back up. We see some nice sheeps onto Jamie Diamond Ice on that armbar. Great job by Swapixy once again.
And Poike caught in that full asphyxiate. He has no adaptation available, but there's no trap to follow it up. They actually use it on Waz, and it looks like the full cheap shot on Zonica. Are they going to be able to follow that up with the sheep? Full sheep right there, full kitty on Jazz. This could just be the game. Zonica has no trinket. Jazz actually decides to use that turtle right there. Great turtle coming out of that. Make sure he doesn't get restunned. The CC's falling off on Zonica. Doesn't look like Poike is actually going to be able to follow that up with Cyclone. He's missing his Vim and Vigor right now. He's having so much trouble right now topping Maro. Maro gets kicked on that sheep. The cauterize is proc. Is he going to be able to hold the block? He's in so much trouble. Poike doing everything he can to prevent this ice block right now. He knows he needs it. The adaptation once again available for Poike. He's going to be able to break out of the next CC, but Jazz is just taking so much damage right now. Zonica is actually not playing the Vim and Vigor. He's having trouble topping Jazz, and the next CC on Zonica, he has no trinket. This could be deadly for Jazz. No trinkets available, but so much damage coming out. Northern Gaming, they actually forced the block. Adaptation immediately from Poike on that asphyxiate. Is he going to be able to get trapped? The trap's actually on Waz. I'm not sure if he ate that or if that was placed on him. Either way, great job. Poike still being able to roll his hots. They definitely need to get this going. The Vendetta is actually on Jazz. If they get one more CC, that is the full kitty on Zonica. Great job right there by Waz, trying to force this trinket out before he uses blind, doing anything he can. Jazz down to 54%. Zonica struggling so much right now to heal through this wound poison, and they're just spamming traps right now, just trying to survive this Vendetta.
Yeah, definitely see a nice AMZ. Now, not time with the combust, but I think they just want to play it safe. They know that Poke is running slowly out of mana. Swapixy, that is the Hunter, still has Exhilaration ready, so there's still the heal still available, even though the Aspect of the Turtle is not available, but so much pressure onto him. DR Kinney onto Swapixy right now. And let's see if Zonica can top him off. He may have to cast some regrowths, but CS is available from Marrow, but he doesn't have a block, so any pressure, any CC onto Poike is going to be the end of him. Full sheep onto Jamie. Let's see if he can get the spell, bot Marrow into big trouble right now. 20% HP. I think he's probably going to go down. Gets Diamond Ice on the heel, gripped on the next one, and what a pressure from Enjoy Legion. I think the game's going to be over very, very shortly.
Wow, what a play right there. They actually used the trap on Maro, and then waited for the asphyxiate on Poike, so he couldn't be healed at the time. It was almost like an offensive cyclone. So much trouble on Maro right now, and surely he goes down. And unfortunately, once again, I hate to say it, but Vim and Vigor just did not seem like it was the best choice. He was always below 80%, but that was a really close game. I think that was a great choice for the Assassination Rogue. Zonica was absolutely They had kill potentials. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to connect. Enjoy Legion, despite not having that much CC, doing a fantastic job getting it off when it's important, trapping Waz up when they need to, trapping Maro up when they need to, and it almost feels like they're just getting dampened. You know, Poike's just got no gas left in the tank. He's under so much pressure that he actually doesn't feel like he can get those offensive clones, which his team needs. So they're going to need to try and figure this out in the next game. What can they do to get Poike more involved in this offense so they can get these kills? But I think it was a great decision for Zonica to actually play Trinket in that matchup, knowing that the Trinket lines up with the blind, Trinketing every single time. And, both well played. So a pretty good win right there from Enjoy Legion, up 2-0. We've already seen a reverse sweep. We could definitely see another one. You can't count NG Blue out, so we're going to have to see what they do coming into Game 3.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no way that you can count Northern Gaming out. They've definitely come up with stuff in these situations before. They have infinite tournament experience, probably the most experienced team, certainly in this tournament, maybe on the European ladder. We've seen Poike and Waz are two names that we have seen in these tournaments pretty much every single time for several years. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they can come up with, because of course they are 2-0 down. Like they're not against easy opponents either. This is Swapsy, Jamie, and Zonica, and they're playing such a fantastic job. All of them, in fact, on ults. Jamie not really known for his DK, Swapsy perhaps not for his Hunter, and Zonica certainly not for his Druid. So all three of them playing the ults, but playing them to such a high level. They're playing the strategy perfect. We saw some fantastic traps coming out of Swapsy in that last game. I just want to do some quick shout outs once again, catching up on some of our donations and subscribers, because of course we have so many incredibly generous people. We want to shout you out as much as possible. We got a 23-month resubscription from Valen ZXX. I think I might have already done that one, but it was 23 months, so we've got to give him the double shout out. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We got $10 from Faith Dimmer. who says a note, and CD will hopefully forgive me for reading this one out. Do 0 to 5 at the con in 2017. Never forget. Apologies for reading this one out, but hopefully going into this year, we'll get to see CD compete again. I would love to see you guys going for it one more time. And then we have a 24-month resubscription actually from Rune284. Thank you so much for the 24 months. Actually one-upping that 23. I didn't even know that was possible. I thought the channel had only been 23 months old. So thank you so much for that. That is incredible. 2 years of resubscribing to our channel. Thank you once again for all the support, all the donations. We are edging ever closer, guys, to that $1,000 prize pool goal, at which point we will be announcing our North American event, which will be starting next month. So we really hyped for that, really looking forward to seeing how the North American ladder has developed. We haven't quite been able to approach that one in the last couple of months, but really excited to see that. So be sure to contribute. Of course, all money going towards the Match Arena. You can type !Match Arena in the chat to get the link to that. We can also show it on stream briefly here, maybe if my OBS will behave. Let's have a little look. Yep, there it is. You can see our beautiful faces here in the middle. And just by clicking on the donate button here, logging into your Twitch and typing in the code GCDTV1, you can donate an extra $1 to the prize pool. That's courtesy of Match Arena, who are partnering with us for this tournament. Thank you so much to them. And we can see we're almost at that $1,000, where our stretch goal will be to announce that North American tournament that will be coming up. You can also check out down below, we have our raffle. We have only 60 entries right now. There's going to be 3 mounts, $25 value each, being given away. You are basically earning these points just by watching the broadcast right now, so definitely check that out. You can earn points for that raffle, sign up for that, and try to get the mount. Everyone, of course, the more you watch, the higher chance you have. And then we also have some other fantastic rewards here, which you can definitely be checking out today. So definitely go over to the Match Arena page and have a little look at that one. We are 2-1 in this series right now between, oh, sorry, we're 2-0, right? Between Northern Gaming and...
Yeah, I think it's 2-0.
And I was wondering, do you guys maybe think, I'm not sure if Poik has been playing his Paladin or something, but maybe Paladin could have a better effect. I feel like Crypt Fever is just so powerful against Restoration, even though being nerfed. I mean, both Survival and DK's got nerfed, and still the damage seems just to be relentless. So maybe, I wonder if Poik could maybe play a different healer. I feel like, you know, pushing for the Hodges could actually help, especially with Assassination, since he's, as Asa, he kind of has to kidney the main target. Maybe if you can push for Hodge into Sheep, it could be like a plausible option. But as I say that, I think we're actually going to see a totally different type of composition from these guys.
I'm actually really surprised to see this comp. I really don't know how good this is. This was really popular last expansion and incredibly powerful. I don't know if it kind of holds that same potential in this expansion. I also don't know how good Waz is at Moonkin, so this is definitely going to be a really interesting game right here. Their backs against the wall. They're just trying to go for, you know, a bold decision, and I think this is definitely one. I'm not really sure how this game's going to play out. How do you feel about this?
I mean, I think it's going to be interesting, not the least. I feel like Frostmage Burst is actually insane, combined with the Moonkin utilities. It could potentially blow something. But I feel like if Injo Legion plays it safe and plays the late game, I think they should be able to win it, especially since Waz is on an alt. I know he has a little bit of experience with Moonkin, but not too much. So we'll see what they decide to go in. Here's they're playing against Diamond Eyes. Moonkin CDs are being popped from Waz. A full stun out to Poik is going to be deciding to shrink it out immediately. Horses away with the freedom, trying to get away. And Exotica is skinning very early on as we see the pressure from Maro. Maro still holding on his CDs for now. Didn't use the icy veins, and artifact is being popped onto Poik. Poik is doing a good job cutting away, pop the wings now on the Gargoyle and the Hunter CD, so he should be okay.
One thing to note is Mimpoike is not playing melee wing, so this pressure is definitely going to start mounting once this falls off, and he's not going to have it for a long time, and his team's actually taking a lot of spreads, so I'm not 100% sure if that was the correct decision. But as I say that, Kim taking so much damage, and what a clone right there from Waz on the Iron Bark, on the AMZ, absolutely amazing play right there. So if anyone was questioning his Moon can play, you can go ahead and get that out of your head right now. Great play from Waz. They decided to trap up Min Paladin right there, and maybe actually decide to swap over to him, full Hodge out on Jazz, and they actually have some insane pressure right here. Northern Gaming Blue coming out with a really weird comp and doing so well with it, forcing the Trinket take it out on Zonica with that full sheep. Great job by Maru sneaking that sheep right in there. I don't think it was off any stun or anything like that, so good job by him. And it actually looks like Enjoy Legion is just retreating right now. They're under so much pressure. Zonica goes for the innervate. He's trying to do everything he can to top his team, but the pressure is just mounting back there. The Blizzard's down, the Starfall's down. I was actually worried that the Starfall would stop sheeps, but they're actually not worried about these sheeps right now. So great job by Northern Gaming putting the pressure on it, and we'll have to see how Enjoy Legion handles this.
Yeah, these slows from the Frost Mage are just so powerful against double melees. You know, they just get slowed, they just get rooted every time. And the Xonica might be actually losing his Vim and Vigor, and he does. He puts the Armberg onto Swapixy, the Hunter, and he actually lost the Vim. I'm curious if Poike is going to push for Hodges into Sheeps. I feel like if they get any CC onto Xonica, Swapixy could be into so much trouble. Looks like Poike is just playing it safe right now, just max ranging, as it was is simply free casting. There's a full Hodge actually, Brownie forcing the skin onto Xonica. Nice defensive stun by Jamie onto Waz, should be stopping him from getting the kill on his Resto Druid, and the pressure is on to the team of Enjoy Legion. They're actually on the back foot. Like I said, Vim and Vigor is not there. AMS is available for Jamie. It looks like they're actually a bit unsure of what to do. I mean, they still have cooldowns, but they're not too sure which target to hit. It feels like if you leave the Boonkin alone, he gets a lot of CC, gets a lot of burst. But it's the same thing, with the Frost Mage.
Legion actually came out really hard to start this game, forcing Wings out immediately from Min Paladin. They haven't done anything since. The Wings is available once again. You can see that Jazz taking so much trouble right now, but the Iron Bark is up, so he should be good. Kin actually has no AMS available, and the damage just not stopping here from Northern Gaming Blue. This is an unrelenting assault. Kin in so much trouble right now. Zonica in the full stun. Can they follow it up with the sheep? Unfortunately, they weren't able to get that. It looks like they're trying to do everything they can to shut this team down. Full stun on Waz, full trap on Min Poike there. And Kin actually has the AMZ once again. He's standing in it. He does not want to leave. He knows surely he'll die if he gets out of that. And there's just so much pressure once again. An amazing clone right there from Waz, cloning up that AMZ, and Jazz is actually the targeted choice right now. The orb is down. He's taking so much damage right now. I don't know if Zonica has any cooldown to survive. Kin at 10%, and the Ice Nova 5%, 6%. How is Zonica keeping him alive? 10%. The full sheep. It actually broke the Starfall. That is very unfortunate. Iron Bark once again on Kin. The whole team is just so low right now. Northern Gaming doing everything they can to try and get this kill. Zonica once again has Trinket though, and it looks like they're actually slowly but surely recovering. Min Paladin into Trinket there, or excuse me, the Hodge there decides to Trinket immediately, going for that the Hodge on his own, and Kin just doing everything he can. They are just getting absolutely pummeled right now.
Yeah, I feel like if that sheep didn't break and he had to trinket, Zonica would not have a trinket for the last Hodge. So he's able to slowly recover his team, but the cooldowns are fading too. Poike does not have Avenging Wings available right now, and Wasp form is slowly dropping. But I feel like they're fine. A nice lockout with the Solar Beam from Waz onto Xonica. He'll have to deal with 1 TS, Jazz MC. So obviously he is using that acceleration, but drops back instantly to 20%. Sonoran Ward has to revive his pet for that MS effect. He actually gets it off, but Jamie is under pressure, has to use the AMS. On top of that, the pressure onto Enjoy Legion is unstoppable, and Xonica is running slowly out of mana.
Applaud Zonica here. He's doing just an absolute fantastic job keeping his teammates alive. This damage is just unbelievable. He's doing a great job avoiding CC, great job keeping Vim and Vigor up. He's doing everything he can, and the pressure is still there, so great play by him. Waz actually going for that clone. Doesn't look like he's going to land that. The Wing's almost up for Min Poike here in 30 seconds. Waz actually taking quite a bit of damage right now. The full stun on Min Paladin. Actually, he actually sacked right before that. He still has bubble available. He shouldn't be in too much trouble. He's going to head and decide to retreat right there with his mount, and it actually looks like Enjoy Legion survived the onslaught, and it looks like they're actually getting the counter pressure. Finally, Wings not available for 15 seconds. They force Morrow into that block. It looks like he's not going to have another one. And Waz with no bar. Actually, Waz does have bark skin. Min Paladin almost has wings. He just needs to hold on for a little bit longer. Full Hodge on there on Zonica. He has no trinket available. Are they going to be able to follow that up with a sheep or clone? Full bop on Waz right there. They can't do anything to purge that. And full stun on Min Paladin right there. Zonica, once again getting into this game, getting that CC out, doing everything he can. Min has wings up. This should be enough to survive. They have one last go. Zonica has no trinket. He has no mana. If they're going to win, it's going to be right here during this Wings.
It has to. A nice diamond ice onto Poike. Is going to deny his wings for a few seconds, but he comes out of it immediately and is going to start topping bot Mara off, who still has a block available. Remember, Frost Mage still do have two ice blocks. A nice asphyxiate onto wall is going to stop some of that burst. Also, Poike is also running slowly out of mana. But look at Zonica. He's totally out of mana. Any pressure on this team, and we see the Starfall on top of the Blizzard, and the Orb is doing so much work. A nice trap once again onto Mara, stopping some of that burst. Zonica gets locked out on that Solar Beam. He still has to deal with 1 CS, and Swapixy has actually the deter. Should be fine acceleration in 10 seconds, so I feel like he might be okay. Jamie does not have AMS, but he's currently sitting at full HP. A nice Hodge into clone pressure, buying a force aspect of the turtle from Swapixy right here, the Hunter. And Poike actually slowly running out of his cooldown. I think he has maybe a bop available, but other than that, he's 40% health and has 10% mana, so it's really going to come down to the team that does slightly the most damage at this point. I feel like it could go anyway.
Great innervate right there from Waz, knowing his healer's trying to get that out. Min actually he's forced to bubble right there, and he doesn't have wings for 50 seconds. The pressure is definitely starting to happen for Northern Gaming Blue. They're in so much trouble right now. There's no block available, and Minpoike Paladin's just getting slowly but surely destroyed. And Maro's actually the one in trouble right now. Minpoike actually has no trinket available, and there's the full trap as I say that. Actually, Maro did have a block. Great block right there. Zonica has no trinket. They need to somehow try and take advantage of this situation. Wings aren't up for another 30 seconds. I don't know if they can hold out much longer. Full clone right there on Zonica. Great pressure coming out from NG Blue right now. Jazz has no turtle. Kin has no AMZ. This has to be it right there. There's the full sheep, a little overlap with the bash, but it might be enough to get Jazz down anyway. The full moon comes in, and is it going to be enough? 900k, 28% for Jazz, and the overgrowth comes out from Zonica. He has absolutely nothing. He is tapped. The wings up in 10 seconds. The sack's out right now for Minpoike. He's doing a great job positioning with that sack, not exposing himself for this situation. Wings up in 5 seconds. If they can hold out for another 5, surely I think Northern Gaming Blue will win this match.
Yeah, watch from where the full moon actually gets locked out. A good kick here by Jamie. Mauron is so much trouble. The wings come up. It's going to be enough. 0%, 1%. Actually, maybe get a cross kill here. 5% HP. No, the EMZ will come out. What a close game from NG against Enjoy Legion, and that really came down to nothing. Wow, Poike just had his wings just coming off at the exact same time as Maro died. Unfortunately, was not able to save him, and I feel like with slightly more experience, Angie could have easily taken this game.
I was actually really surprised to see how powerful that comp was. They came out strong. They had pressure for almost a solid 5 minutes. Zonica was almost that entire game. I don't even know why he had a mana bar. It didn't seem like it was relevant. Absolutely amazing job from Zonica keeping his team alive right there. And unfortunately, too little too late. Wings comes up maybe a second or two too short. Minpoike just doesn't have enough to keep his teammates alive. And I think if they would have lived for maybe another 10 to 15 seconds, they had that game. The AMZ was down at the end. And a great talent choice there. That AMZ definitely kept them alive. But NG Blue, despite losing that game, I think that was really, really close. And I think if they play them again, that's definitely something they could look to in the future, knowing the matchup. So definitely great job by them. I think they're going to get knocked down here into the lower bracket, but it was a well-fought match.
Yeah, I just want to take a second here to look at Waz's damage in that game. He did 75 million. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but suddenly it's going to be pretty close on, and that is an incredible amount of damage coming out from that. But then at the same time, you have to think the Zonica on that Restoration Druid, he did such a great job out healing that damage. I cannot believe that they were able to survive that one. So fantastic job coming out of both of these teams. It's fantastic to see as well that both these teams are playing their ults at such a high level. Like, this was such an incredibly high level game, and there was only really one character that could be considered kind of a main in this entire game. So fantastic to see these two teams, even with the 3-man roster, they are coming up with these excellent comps. I'm so happy to see how well that game went. Unfortunately, of course, Northern Gaming couldn't quite take the game. It was so close, but it's going to be in favor of Swapsy, Zonica, and Jamie going into that upper bracket final.
Yeah, as you said, it was a really close game, and I feel like if they had like a slightly more practice with it, they could have taken it. It seems like for most of the game, they actually had so much pressure, and they basically lost the game when Poike was just totally out of cooldowns. But it took a while for that to happen. I feel like their swaps onto Zonica were good. They were making him lose the Vim, and that's the turning point where he just couldn't really recover. Maybe that should have been like the strategy. Maybe like CCing isn't actually that effective as I thought it would be. Felt like every time they went for Zonica, made him lose the Vim. He just could never recover. The triple Starfall is extremely very mana efficient and very hard to heal. On top of that, so that could have been a strategy, but nonetheless, it's going to be a 3-0 for Enjoy Legion. They played really well throughout these series, and we'll see, I think, more of them tomorrow. And but yeah, some great games coming out from these all these alts, and it's just great to see the comp variety.
Definitely really surprised to see Waz pull out a Moonkin. That is not something I've ever seen from him. So from a tournament standpoint, for him to kind of have that, in his back pocket, another trick up the sleeve, well done by him. I thought he had great offensive clones. 75 million damage kind of says it all. So clearly you can't give him any grief about that. I think he did a fantastic job. I have a question. Do you think Fire would have potentially been better in that matchup, or do you think Frost is just much better? It kind of feels like they were trying to rot everything. I'm not sure if Fire does that better now, since Frost has like that orb spec.
Right. I actually think Frost was a great choice. I think Frost is extremely strong against double melees. They have that Frostbite talent that basically gives them a chance to get rooted, and that's what kind of was happening. They were pulling back. The team of Enjoy Legion were pulling back, and they were all just getting slowed. It's actually, as a melee, Frost Mage is like kind of annoying. the word, really annoying to deal with, rather. Just because you're just slowed all the time. As soon as he puts the blizzard up, you're just slowed, and then sometimes you have a chance to get rooted. And on top of that, if the mage is free, he also does so much damage. So I think Frost was probably a good choice, and Poikan the Paladin too was a good choice. I'm still curious what would have happened if they played maybe Rogue Mage Paladin, but that comp definitely seemed to work out. And as you know, as we were saying, I think with maybe a tiny bit more practice, they could have gotten the kill. And like you said, it's probably one of the few times where Wild actually played Winkin. I don't think he played it too many times, but it's still cool to see.
Another thing to mention is I wonder if melee wings would have been better in that situation. It feels like everything eventually started rotting, and not only is it great for healing, it's also great for pressure. Maybe it would have kind of knocked off that last couple percent for some of those kill attempts.
Yeah, that's possible too. It's hard to say. I don't play Paladin too much. It feels like people can maybe how to say it. They can kind of just play around with it. But now that's actually, I think you can heal through absorbs now, and that was not the case before. So it is before. I feel like you could easily abuse it. Could maybe like pop a like an some kind of absorption or anything to mitigate that avenging damage. But if you can't, it can remain strong. It's hard to say, to be honest. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, definitely a tough decision. I almost want to see another game. I wish there was one more. I would like to see how that kind of goes with melee wings, or what Enjoy. Wait, which team was that? I'm sorry, it wasn't Enjoy Legion, was it?
Enjoy Legion. Yep.
Oh, well, was Enjoy Legion? Okay, I would like to see what Enjoy Legion would use to play into that if they kind of got their strategy down. That's a comp I haven't seen once in this entire expansion, so that was definitely interesting to see. I wonder if I'm going to start seeing that on the ladder now.
Yep. That's something really cool. I'm really liking. Like this is amazing, right? Like the patch happened 3 days ago, 4 maybe, and we have seen just complete comp variety in this series. Like Blizzard done a fantastic job with these maps. I'm really happy that we're not just seeing kind of one comp all over the place. Although we didn't really see that last time either. But suddenly on the meadow, on the ladder, it felt like there was a little bit more, or a little bit less comp variety. I think some people got that impression. So fantastic to see these hot fixes coming through, and then also fantastic to see the players adapting to it so quickly as well. So kudos to all the players that have been doing so well in this tournament so far. We're going to head over and have a little look over at the brackets right now and see how the tournament is playing out. Of course, we do now have our 2 teams in the upper bracket final, both of them securing a place in the top 3, so they will be going away with a little bit of money. That's ABC and Enjoy Legion, so we'll look forward to that series tomorrow. That's not going to be played out today. We're going to go over now to our next series, which is going to be Social Justice Warriors against Thuringia Klosse. So that's going to be the team of Kavi, who was playing they were playing the Windwalker DK, I believe, and also the Hunter DK Paladin. And they'll be playing against this big LSD2 of Laser Chicken, Bowie, and Aristros on the Destruction Warlock. So really looking forward to see how this series plays out. This will be an exciting one, I'm sure. We having a little look over, of course, at our donations as well. We got a 25-month resubscription from Feral Kitty Cat. Thank you so much for that, and also a 22-month resubscription from Luther83. So thank you so much for the support, guys. Just looking over at our match arena as well, we're getting so close to that $1,000 prize pool, where of course we will be announcing the North American event. So please, we appreciate any support going towards that. Just by typing the code GCDTV1 into the match arena, you will donate $1 courtesy of match arena themselves. So please do go over to their website. You can type !Match Arena in the chat to get that up, and we would thoroughly appreciate you guys doing that, so that we can get there and start talking forward at our North American event. But anyway, so we're going to be going up into this LSD2 versus, oh, wrong one, there we go. LSD2 versus what will presumably be a Windwalker DK coming out of Kavi's team. What do you guys think about this particular matchup?
So that's a tough one.
You was saying earlier that one of the weaknesses of the rest of Shamans, of course, getting cleaved down, and we have here a perfect example of a cleave. You have the option of playing Windwalker DK and PhD. So what do you think, Sidu, will happen to that rest of Shaman?
I mean, believe it or not, that would be a bold move to kind of go on the rest of Shaman early. You know, knowing that you're leaving a Destro Warlock and a Moonkin free for your whole team to get Cyclone or Chaos Bolted or Full Moon. So, honestly, if they do a good job surviving, I think that they'll probably lose within a minute or two if they actually try and train the rest of Shaman. They have to be really confident with their ability to go in and kind of lock down some of those clones and Chaos Bolts while training the rest of Shaman. So, it's definitely tough to say. I actually feel like DK Hunter would probably be a better choice. I almost feel like they just lost to Warrior Mage in the same sense. Like, you have the Mortal Strike, you know, with the Hunter. You have the Trap, which is kind of doing the same thing essentially what the Mage is doing, you know, getting those small CC, but you also have a lot more damage. So I don't know. This is kind of up in the air for me. This is a really tough decision.
Yeah, I think we can expect Laser Chicken to probably play the same comp. We're not quite sure yet what the team of Kavix is going to be running, but we'll know in a few seconds as we enter the arena.
Oh, looks like you may have made the right call on this one. We see a DK and a Monk. This is actually a comp we haven't seen in a while. DK's actually got nerfed quite a bit. Monks have actually, you know, received quite a bit of nerfs, but I expect that they're actually probably just going to sit on DPS, try and grip into stuns on the Shaman, get some of that cleave pressure rolling, and, you know, essentially almost rot the team. Maybe if they have a lot of pressure, they'll kind of continue going on the Shaman, but I actually don't expect them to train him. I actually think it's going to be much more difficult for them to get damage out with DPS on him and the grips on the Shaman with just some lockdowns. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this one.
Yeah, so I'm assuming he's going to play Avenging Wings. That's what I guess you would play if you played Paladin Assist.
Yeah, you definitely want to be able to heal through that rot. I'm kind of curious if Mayline's going to go with that Dark Simulacrum again, knowing his playstyle, knowing he's so good at stealing, or if he actually just going to go for the safe choice with the MZ. So we're going to have to see what he does here. But gates are opening, and we're going to, you know, expect a big opener here from Cavi's team. So let's go and see what they do. Looks like they're actually running out. End cap on Moonkin. They're actually just going to decide to train the Warlock right now, kind of like what I thought. Just lock down some of that DPS. The Holy Pally is actually playing blind, so catch him off guard. The touch death up on Ristros right now, and the wall's not used yet. Maybe he's going to use it after. The full Hodge on Smork Master. It looks like he's playing that Relentless, reducing so much of that CC, and Ristros actually does decide to use the wall there, and looks like they're actually doing a pretty good job surviving this first initial set of cooldowns, and it looks like Cavi's team is actually under a bit of trouble. Great cap right there from Smork Nation. Catches two, and this Monk's actually playing Diffuse Magic, and Cavi just getting bursted down out of nowhere. What the heck was that damage? That must have been a Sky Fury with a full moon, and that is really, really scary to leave that Moonkin alone like I was talking about. SJW just coming out so quick for that first game. Unbelievable amount of pressure.
I mean, he did have the Avenging, the Melee Wing, up, but I think he was standing in the Fell Fissure and wasn't healing except for these 2 seconds that he was alive for, and just got absolutely destroyed. What a burst! 1.1 million full moon from Moonkin God, that is Laser Chicken in the opening game, and Kavix goes down before he can even look at his bubble button.
Yeah. 1.1 million.
I think didn't he have his wall up as well, like his magic 20% damage reduction? I think I saw him pop it.
I actually don't think
I'm not sure.
No way. That was 20% damage reduction, I think.
That would be pretty insane.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought I saw him have it up for the like on the add-on, but maybe not. So that would have been incredible. Either way, that is unbelievably unlucky for them. Like, if that doesn't crit there, of course it has to crit for the Sky for you to benefit from it. If he doesn't crit that full moon, then of course Cavi with his Melee Wing should be able to stabilize his team a little bit. But I think this is a really rough matchup for them. Holy Paladins traditionally have struggled a little bit with this AoE damage, and especially coming out of Laser Chicken, he is just doing so much damage in this tournament.
So I have a question, maybe Cedar knows. I was wondering, ever since they made the change to Avenging, you know, with the absorb mechanism, what happens to Urson Shield when Pally pops Melee Wings? Does it still mitigate some of that Melee Wings healing, or does it ever since the fix?
I actually don't know. That's a good question. My guess is that before it probably actually used to hurt their healing, and now thinking about it, it probably doesn't anymore. So that's actually probably a pretty strong buff to Holy Powers right there. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because he had the Urson Shield down, but I'm not sure if that's what was refraining him from healing, or the fact that he was, I mean, the pressure was, of course, insane, but he was standing in Fissure for a second. Of course, you know, Fell Fissure slows, so it's kind of, you need to get a second or two to get out of it. And on top of that, I think he was hitting into the wall, so the Warlock had a wall up.
Right.
Means that he was doing
trying to keep that pressure up. Games like that are just, they put teams in such a tough position, because you don't know if the comp was good or not because you didn't actually get to play the full game out. You know, maybe they are supposed to force bubble there, and maybe you're supposed to win it in the next go or two, but it really puts so much pressure on them right now to pick, you know, the right comp. Do they stick with the same comp? Do they try it again, play out a full game where everyone uses cooldowns perfectly, and maybe they still kind of fall behind? So this is going to be a really tough decision for them. If they do play that same comp, I think that they're definitely going to need to cleave. One thing that Resto Shamans actually struggle with quite a bit right now is split damage. You know, you can't have Earthshield on 2 targets. Just kind of do whatever you can to just make them heal as much as possible. But, you know, it looks really in favor of the LSD2 for me right now.
Yep, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, when we saw other teams play against this team, they had Resto Druids on their team. So Resto Druids are a lot better at dealing with this kind of spread pressure, even with the healing touch enough. Just playing that scenario in Ward Cultivation spec is a lot of passive kind of hot healing. And now that they... with Cavi on the Holy Paladin, like he reacted perfectly to this, except for the no bubble, of course. He used everything, his melee wings early. He did use his wall at some point, maybe it did fall off before the full moon, but he did everything seemingly quite correct, and it's just, the damage was just too high, honestly.
It might have been a focus, you know, a full moon. That is plausible too. You know, the moon can may put the paladin in focus. You know, pretend like he's hitting the DK, and then the paladin just get hit for 1.1 million and stuck on GCD and just gets dominated. That's plausible too. Hard to say, but I feel like it. You know, especially when you play melee wings, it's so scary in the opener because when offensive, or, you know, teams have so many offensive CDs. You know, Moonkin CDs is 3 minutes. I'm not sure if Ericho is playing Dark Soul, but if he is, then that's a pretty big CD too. I didn't check last game. But if you can survive these CDs, you know, the first melee wing is always going to be a bit rough, but the next, I feel like melee wings are going to get easier and easier to deal with because there won't be as much damage to deal with. So yeah, in the opener, it's always going to be very, very scary for them. Maybe Maylan should pop that AMZ early on as soon as he sees that full moon. Sorry, and they may be able to live that opening burst.
Yeah, it's definitely really tough for that first melee wings. We're going to see if they can maybe get some more opening pressure. Maybe they won't take as much. And it actually looks like they're going straight on to Smork Nation here, kind of what we expected. The touch of death goes up, the full stun goes out. Moonkin got actually getting stunned there, so he can't peel with Cyclones. Looks like he's going to start to get him off. Soonki stuck in a full clone right there. Laser Chicken knows what he needs to do to keep his Resto Shaman alive right now, but the DRs are going to slowly start fading away. Smork Nation actually decides to gate. Soonki immediately back on him. He has no cares right now, just flying serpent kicking over, and this is an unrelenting assault right now in Smork Nation. The Earthen Shield's down, he's taking so much damage, and a great clone by Laser Chicken right there to shut that melee wings down.
Yeah, he's actually spamming some heals. Smork Nation is fine. He's in that Earthen Shield right now. He's full HP, even though AMZ is now being popped. I like that choice on the full moon. It's going to reduce some of that damage. Melee Wing's still up for Cavi. Can he top himself off? Looks like they're still trying to chase after Smork Nation. The wall is being used. I think it's a good choice on the CDs from both the Windwalker and the DK. He's actually dropping dangerously low. Gets locked, but I think he's going to be able to free cast right now. He's actually playing Defender of the Week, which means that he does not have that interrupt reduction from the other talents, and which means he's potentially, if he gets chain interrupted, he could be in a lot of trouble. Touch of Karma gets used here by Sonic. He melee wings for another 15 seconds. A DR leg sweep. He actually doesn't have a link. Smork Nation is in trouble. He has to cast. I think he's gonna go down. Moon God cannot even get actually Fist of Fury with him at the end there, and the pressure from this Windwalker DK was way higher in this game.
Yeah, even though Laser Chicken just did an absolutely amazing job peeling, they just stuck on Smork Nation the entire time. Traditionally on these small maps, it's really easy to train Resto Shaman. I'm going to have to say maybe it was a mistake not playing Calming Waters there. Maybe he wasn't expecting it, but, you know, putting yourself in a position where you could get just chain interrupted like that, eventually you're just going to fall behind and you could just go down so easily like that. It looks like he used all of his cooldowns perfectly. He was peeled for amazingly, but, you know, while they're doing all that peeling, they actually didn't take too much damage. But, I mean, that's kind of traditionally what you want to see when you play Resto Shaman teams. So I think it's probably going to be same comps. They're going to pick another map, and they're going to keep their Shaman, you know, pretty far back, nice and comfy. And I'll probably end up switching to that Calming Water talents. But, you know, dominant performance right there from Cavi's team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, just want to go ahead, tell me.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, like, it's so amazing how these games can completely go back on the head. It went from one game where it just looked like the DK Windwalker was just getting rotted, there was nothing they could do, to this game where they just had unrelenting pressure on that Resto Shaman. He used every cooldown. He used his Link, he used his Earthen Shield, his Wall. Like, maybe he needs to use them in a slightly different order. Of course, we have a Shaman Master in the call, so he can probably give us a little bit of analysis on that after this, but I just can't believe how easily they were able to chop through his cooldowns and just kill him in like a minute or so.
When they actually gated...
Does it depend on the map, you think? You feel like maybe a different map would be different, and the Calming Waters, does that play into an effect?
Calming Waters is really important. It's probably a little more important for North America right now because teams play Blood Elf Silence. I'm pretty sure that Windwalker Decay was human. But yeah, actually having the DR for the Blood Elf Silence, matters so much. But it's definitely something you need. You can't get chain interrupted because there's so many. There's the kick, there's the Mind Freeze, there's the Pet Interrupt. So if you can't just sit there and chain cast, you're definitely going to be in a lot of trouble. And once you start getting those swelling waves off, with your spam healing surges, you're actually in a pretty reasonable spot. When Smork Nation actually gated, there was so much damage going out onto Cavi's team. It actually looked like Smork Nation was under no trouble. He had the Earthen Shield down, he was sitting comfy, and once that faded, and Cavi kept his team alive, they just kind of slowly fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Cavi's playing that double beacon talent, so I think it makes his single target beacon a bit weaker, but I guess that's like a choice that you opt in. Maybe you know more about it when you fight like a cleave type of pressure, so that your avenging just like heals, I guess, more through output. Or has just more through output, I guess.
Yeah, it's just more throughput for the avenging. It heals, the beacon targets extra. So I think that's a pretty good talent choice by him.
We'll have to see if Smork Nation decides to play that Calming Water this game. I think he may have to. Looks like Mayline's playing that Decomposition Aura. Looks like a bit buggy. Looks like the DK, the Wing has the Aura now, and then the DK is not nearby. Anyways, the pressure is onto Smork Nation. Nice incap onto the Moon King God. Gets gripped in. A nice cap, trinketed by Mayline. Instantly, Felfishers are rolling. It looks like a nice cross CC on Moon King God. He actually gets stunned while Smork Nation also gets stunned. The Earthen Shield is down. He's going to be free casting, so he should be fine as the melee wings have been popped by Kavix.
SJW doing a great job peeling this opener right now. They're stopping the melee wings. They're stopping the Windwalker Monk. They're stopping the DK. They're actually stopping everyone right now. Smork Nation actually playing that Calming Waters, and here comes the cast. He's just going to be spamming healing. Healing Wave on himself is actually less throughput than Healing Surge, but Cavi, on the other hand, having to go for that bubble immediately, and Smork Nation in so much trouble is going to be forced to link right here, I think, and that is the Spirit Link right now. Calming Waters still up. If he has a sentence, he's going to top his entire team. They're actually spam interrupting Calming Waters, so great talent choice right there, knowing he get those cast off, and it actually looks like Cavi's team is on the retreat right now, knowing that there's no melee wings, and SJW's not having it. They're pushing in. Smork Nation sitting in the backfield, knowing he's not going to be swapped to, and there's just so much damage coming out from SJW in return.
Yeah, Sonic did have to use his Touch of Karma in the exchange, but now Moon King God doesn't have his CDs. His CDs are slowly, his offensive CDs are falling over, and Smork Nation is under pressure. Melee Wing's coming up in a few seconds. He needs to pop it immediately. Actually, a nice sacrifice. Is it going to be enough? He's stuck in a clone. He cannot bubble this clone. And Sonic is under pressure. He has to pop the Melee Wings. He has 5% HP, and Sonic is going to go down, and a great clone by Moon King God here, denying the Avenging Wing from Kavix is going to finish the team of Tulinge Plus and lead them at 2-1.
Yeah, that's definitely something you got to be afraid of on a map like that, where it's so easy for Smork Nation to get away with those, with the power of the Destro Warlock and the Moonkin just casting. Not only are they able to break up the damage so easily, but they're able to just put out an immense amount of pressure. That Cyclone there, is being able to free cast it, just ending the game. Cavi actually had wings available, and if they connected one more time on Smork Nation, it could have been the game. But a really all-in strategy right there, and it just didn't pay off, especially not on that map.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the map is a huge part of it as well, right? Like, it was, even from the start of the game, we saw kind of a repeat of Nagra, and like, it just took them so long to connect, and then when they did, like, they have to trade out the bubble and all this, and it's kind of curious, like, 2 games now, that first full moon from Laser Chicken has forced bubble on Cavi. I wonder if there's anything they can really do about that. Do you think there's anything like they can counterplay to that, or do you think it's just kind of like, if that ability crits with Sky Fury, then they will have to bubble every time?
I mean, it's just kind of up to Cavi to have either, is it the Aura Mastery or the Shield Wall for it? Some of that damage reduction, increased healing. I would actually like to see something, a little cheeky. Maybe not try and pop every cooldown instantly and get some of those DRs rolling. Get the Mistweaver Monk cloned up, get some stuns going out, and then after the DRs are used, maybe go for it. But I mean, this is Ruins of Lordaeron. This is a Shaman training map. It is probably going to be start to finish on Smork Nation. I don't know if he's going to be able to get away, but I think Calming Waters was a really smart talent choice by him, knowing that he's just getting chain interrupted. And honestly, that might just be the difference. They might not be able to push through that. So we'll have to see, what Cavi's team wants to do here. If they're going to continue just training that Resto Shaman, honestly, it might be their best strategy.
It might be, but I think I really I really would like to see Mayline maybe popping that AMZ a bit earlier. It was slightly overlapped with the bubble from Cavi. I mean, he had the bubble because the AMZ came slightly too late. If the AMZ could come a little bit earlier, and I think that should be fine. I mean, the AMZ lasts 10 seconds. That's 60% spell damage reduction. As long as Cavi has the melee wing still up, he should be able to top his team. So maybe the AMZ could come a bit shorter. Could have saved that bubble. And I feel like if he had bubble for that clone at the end, melee wing was coming back off, he would have topped his team, and maybe Smoke Nation would have died. So it really comes down to nothing and to each individual's small little, play. So it's gonna be interesting to see what both of these teams decide to do in this match, in this map. Rather, it is going to be very, very hard for the Shaman, as you said. Potentially, do you think it's going to be hard for him to get away on this map?
Yeah, this is definitely a really difficult map. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. His only line of defense is that gateway, and it's going to be great for getting away. But it looks like Cavi's team's not having it. They don't want to run in there, knowing that the Shaman's going to gate out, get the superior positioning. So, unfortunately, for the viewers, we're kind of having a slow and steady match right now. No one really doing anything. And actually, you know what? Cavi's team said, screw it. They're running straight in on this Resto Shaman. The in cap over on the Moonkin, not allowing him to get some cross DC right there. Great Hodge on Laser Chicken immediately after that. So much damage going out on Smork Nation right now. They're preventing those clones. This is why Smork Nation is taking so much damage. The Earthen's down, the wall's up, and he actually is almost already out of his self-defensives. He's only got Spirit Link left as his last line of defense, and that might not be enough.
Running back, it looks like they're actually trying to reset. Actually, the Kavik then uses melee wings, and I think that's what you were saying. Maybe they're trying to get cooldowns without using too many of their cooldowns.
Yeah, I actually think this is really good for Cavi's team. They still have the melee wings. They still have touch death. This is probably going to be the unrelenting assault right now in Smork Nation. They're pushing right in. He actually gates that touch death immediately, but grip back, unfortunately for him. Are they going to be able to stop some of these Cyclones from Moonkin God? It looks like he's just spamming out those Cyclones right now, and it's just so easy for him to do the Cyclone, the regrowth, the Cyclone, the regrowth. He's just doing such a great job keeping his Shaman alive right now, and this is kind of the fault with leaving that Moonkin alone, and now he's popping his offensive cooldowns, and Cavi's team's going to be under quite a bit of trouble. He's got melee wings for a few more seconds here, but Smork Nation's just, kind of chilling at full HP, and Cavi pops that shield wall. He's trying to do everything he can to prevent bubble with his melee wings up. He's taking so much damage, and once again the AMZ overlap with the bubble. That is so unfortunate. He wanted to bubble that Chaos Bolt, but a little late on the AMZ.
Yeah, Smork Nation is doing a great job. He's basically just keeping himself top so much. He's never, he's using a lot of mana, but I think it's a smart choice. He knows that as long as they survive for long enough, they will win this game. And now he's going back to his defensive positioning. Gateway is not available. His wall should be back up, though, so he should be fine for the next burst. And the team of Cavi is slowly running back, but I feel like Cavi could actually outlast him if they wanted to. It's not that hard to run back when you don't have melee wings, even though he doesn't have bubble for now, so he has to be a bit careful. Nice in cap onto the clone, double leg sweep. Nice cross he sees from this one Walker Decay. The pressure is going to be onto Smork Nation. He actually pops the Astral Shift. I think he's going to be fine as soon as he gets these casts off. A nice double coil into clones. Going to deny any pressure from Sunaki.
They actually got a lot of pressure right there because they did a great job stopping down Laser Chicken. The melee wings is out, so they should probably be stable right now, but I actually was kind of upset to see that go. I think they should have maybe waited a little bit longer, but they did get the wall, so maybe the next one is good to go. The Shaman's at 44% mana. That's something to note. If they actually let him run away and they don't let him get a drink off, they can actually win this game just based off straight mana. The Earthen Shield's down right now. Smork Nation's actually taking quite a bit of damage, gets interrupted right there. The Calming Waters is up, so he's going to be able to top pretty easily right now with no problem, and Cavi's team is playing it absolutely perfect right now. They're going in, and they're hitting and they're running. They're waiting for that melee wings to be back up. Laser Chicken doesn't want anything to do with that. He's trying to keep the pressure up, but solo he just can't do it. And Smork Nation doing a great job playing that defensive position and going for the drink when he needs to, knowing that his mana is probably one of the only way he can lose right now if this goes to dampening. So both teams doing everything that they can to do the best possible strategy to win.
A nice grip into Lex to behind the pillar. You actually need the artifact in on. Smork Nation is too far, has a grounding up, should be able to get one heal off. Nice setup. I really like that. Force the skin, the grip into Lex sweep onto the Laser Chicken, Moonkin God. Forced actually the bark skin, and actually he's slowly running out of mana. Smork Nation, that is, melee wings is available. No bubble though on Cavi. He has to be careful on the next Moonkin CD so he doesn't get blown up, but AMZ should be available, so hopefully they won't overlap that again, and they should be able to live. And this is a very frustrating situation for DLSD, when you just can't do anything. You have to sit back and wait for them to come, and they're just resetting over and over again. There's not too much you can do, but Smork Nation is going to get some drink. A nice flying serpent kick is going to deny that drink. It looks like the pressure is going to be back onto him. He's casting very early, getting kicked once again to get that Calming Waters. Full stun. Soul Reaper is up. I think Artifact's not ready, but actually a nice sack from Cavi. He's going to sack that fear onto Suniki. A nice clone. He has Touch of Karma. I think Mayline may have AMS, so they're pretty healthy situation right now. They're just trying to force a CD. They forced the Earthen Shield, and I think they may just run on that.
Yeah, even though Sunki actually stopped that drink there, it came with a pretty pricey cost. Every time they push in, it feels like they're in so much trouble. And Smork Nation actually drinking in the middle of the map. Are they going to be able to stop this? He's just trying to sneak a drink, and Sunki once again on top of it. He actually decides to stop that. And, you know, it comes with such a great price. He's in the middle of the map right now. He's actually in a coil, decides to trigger that, but they're actually going hard on Smork Nation, and he gets cloned up immediately. Great shutdown there by Laser Chicken, just completely denying it. The touch of death was up. He was about to do a ton of damage, and a full Hodge out on Laser Chicken, immediately trinketed, doing everything he can to keep the pressure up, keep peeling. And it looks like Cavi's team is playing this really well in terms of positioning, but he's actually in a lot of trouble right now. He gets bashed up, triggers that immediately. His melee wings are up. He should be in no trouble right now. As long as he gets to get some of this damage off, and a great clone there by Laser Chicken, shutting down the end of that melee wings. Smork Nation in a little bit of trouble right now. Zwen is up, but it doesn't look like they're able to connect. It looks like they're playing that defensive position. I kind of almost want to see him continue to play back and do exactly like that, take advantage of Laser Chicken's aggressive positioning, decides to grip him in, and it forces Smork Nation in. So, you know, kind of a 2-for-1 value right there, but they did get bubble in that exchange, and they have melee wings up at 20 seconds. Are they going to be able to survive to get this next kill?
Yeah, Cavi needs to get away right now. I really like what Laser Chicken is doing. You know, he's putting pressure onto Cavi, and I feel like that's really, really important to do when a Paladin's playing Avenging. As soon as he has no Avenging, like, Moon King God is basically chasing him around, basically force the bubble by himself. Now we see the incap onto Moon King God, pressures onto Smork Nation. He has to cast. He gets one heal off a second. Ashley gets stunned. Touch of Karma offensively. AMS on mainline. Should be fine. Melee wings are coming out shortly. Smork Nation has to link. Will they retreat? I'm actually wondering if they're going to pull back. Some great clones coming from Moon King God, stopping some of that burst. Actually, no, he's going to pop the melee wings, and maybe he still retreats and trying to heal off that like this until the next onslaught. We'll have to see.
I think that was a good retreat right there by Cavi's team. I think it's really smart. They got Link there. That's a 3-minute cooldown. They only used melee wings and Karma, so their cooldowns are going to come up sooner than Link. This game isn't dampening, so if they continue to take that pressure, they're just going to take so much damage. And once again, Laser Chicken playing so aggressive, and we've already seen them take advantage of his positioning before. And there's the grip, and there's the stun. He's in so much trouble right now. Smork Nation trying to get there, but he's out of line of sight. Is this going to be followed up with a Fist of Fury? It surely is. It's Smork Nation in a full stun right now, and there's no Link available. Decides to gate back, knowing that there's no death grip because he used it earlier. And, you know, Laser Chicken's got to be really careful. He's playing aggressive. He's trying to stop Cavi from drinking. He's trying to stop them from resetting, but they're doing such a great job taking advantage of his offensive positioning, and there's no Spirit Link right now. Melee Wings is up in 10 seconds. I'm pretty sure Cavi's team's just going to all in about 20 seconds here. Touch of Death available. Smork Nation's, going to be maybe the target choice. There's no skin on Laser Chicken. They could do so much right now. All they have to do is kind of wait out a few more seconds and push in when they're ready. I think the time is now.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to go back onto Moon King God, or if they're actually going to decide to switch something up. I feel like they're just trying to not let them play the game. Dampening is ramping up slowly. We are at 13% right now. This LSD just does not want to push in, and I don't think they have a choice. He's putting the Starfalls behind, but it doesn't really do too much because there's no dots on the opposing team. Smork Nation trying to get some of that mana back. Maybe Cavi may have to drink, but I think it may not come to mana. With the melee wings, he usually doesn't have to spend as much as the rest of Shaman does. I'm not too sure what their strategy is for now. Maybe they're waiting for some... Actually, there's the grips into stun. Instantly trinketed. DR Hodge on the trinket. Gets the spell by Smork Nation. See if there's any CC if they decide to pull back. Or are they going to try and push in? It looks like the choice is to pull back. So they're slowly playing it very, very on the longevity. And they're trying to force CDs, run back out, force CDs, run back out. And I feel this map allows them to.
Yeah, Cavi's team is doing exactly what they need to right now to win. They know that Smork Nation's playing too defensive for them to go on them, so they're just taking advantage of Laser Chicken anytime they can. But with that being said, Smork Nation actually pushes up to try and get his team aggressive, and he's immediately being swapped to Gus over to the gate, gets grip back. He's going to have a free gate right now if he decides to drop the Earthen Shield instead, trying to keep his team there, trying to keep his team aggressive. Cavi still has the melee wings available, so they shouldn't be in too much trouble right now. And this actually might be a bait from Cavi's team right now. There's so much pressure mounting right now, and there's the melee wings. The pressure should stop as long as they can stop these clones. There's a clone right there on Cavi. Decides to trinket that. The full moon comes out. Great AMZ right there to try and relieve some of that pressure. And it looks like they're actually pushing into the room, trying to get Smork Nation down, knowing that there's no... Wait, is there... I don't know if there's a gateway available. He's in a full leg sweep. He's at 15%, and he's going to get these cast off. He's at 1%. He gets kicked, and he goes down. Even with the calming waters up, the interrupt is short enough, or it's long enough to still secure that kill, and playing to dampening actually favored them. I think Cavi's team played that flawlessly. Every time Laser Chicken pushed in to stop a drink, they took advantage of it. That forced Smork Nation in. They kind of bounced back and forth until they got themselves a win. So, what is SJW going to do on other maps to prevent this from happening? That's actually a pretty good map for them, but I feel like Cavi's team could play that way on any single map, and it feels like if they're running away, they can't get that pressure rolling. So how are they going to prevent the grips and the stuns to kind of, actually help them get a kill? It feels like anytime they played aggressive, they were in so much trouble.
Yeah, that was fantastic adaptation, sorry, from Cavi's team. I really, really liked that. Every single time they forced anything, even like a 1 minute cooldown, like an Urban Shield turn, they just kind of admitted, like, hey, we'll take what we can get, and then we'll run away, and then we'll wait for the next melee wings. That was playing perfectly. And even though Laser Chicken was doing such a great job of, as we were saying, chasing Cavi when he didn't have those melee wings, getting the solo pressure, forcing the bubbles, they were still able to win that game. So phenomenal gameplay actually coming out of Cavi's team. I'm really happy to see that, and that's going to tie up the series 2-2. Who do you guys think is going to take this one now?
I mean, as you were saying, I think Cavi is just playing better and better after each game. We still, at the end, I actually thought Malin was going to die. He had no AMS. He popped the AMZ, but unfortunately, Smork Nation gated, so they basically had to chase him and running out of that AMZ. And I thought it was maybe going to be over with that almost 20% dampening. Melee Wings was available, and as Sidu said, I think the fact that they were able to reset so much and slowly force CDs is what caused them to, win the game. And also it's always a bit frustrating for the opposing team, when the team in front of you just keeps running and there's not much you can do about it. You don't have the potential or the ability to chase them beyond pillars, so you just get punished by it. They're in a pretty frustrating spot, I would say, now that they lost the last game, and they're gonna have to find a way to prevent them from resetting as much.
Yeah, this is a really tough call, because the way I see any map working out is maybe Blade's Edge is the best one because they can't play like that. But if Cavi decides to play that defensive positioning with his team, and anytime they push in, they just get some crazy pressure, also forcing their Shaman in, which they could swap to really easily. It's really difficult. In my mind, the only way I could see a Laser Chicken's team winning this is if they play Blade's Edge, so the other team can't actually run. They'll have insane pressure, but it's kind of a double-edged sword. They're leaving their Shaman there as like a sitting duck almost. So it's definitely going to be a tough decision for them. I'm not sure if we're going to see any comp changes, but they're going to have to maybe take a high risk, high reward here, because I feel like right now the LSD2 is actually disadvantaged.
Right. I mean, it may come down to a bit of RNG too. I mean, the highest full moon of last game was 454k, and on the previous game we saw it going ramping up to almost 1.1 million. And like I said, this game is doing like half the damage. So there's always a bit of RNG. Maybe when they're onto Smork Nation, the rest of Shaman, he's maybe not able to use the Sky Fury as optimally, or as how Laser Chicken wants them. And I feel like that may be, that's one of the reasons they got so many kills in the past few games. A big full moon onto Kavix or onto one of the DPS. It doesn't seem to really matter as long as you get that big 1 million full moon. It gives them so much pressure. But in this last game, he actually didn't hit as hard. And Legion is also about doing a lot of damage. And if sometimes you don't have the damage when you need it, it's hard to finish your opponents off.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to get into Game 5 of this series. They picked the biggest map left in the pool. Ashermain's Fall is going to be the final resting place for one of these two teams. Of course, they will be eliminated if you lose this. You do not want that so close to the top 3. And it's going to be Suniki, Cavi, and Mayline going up against Laser Chicken, Aristros, and Bowie playing the Restoration Chamber.
And Cavi's team already deciding to play this very defensive positioning, probably only going to go in for those grips, trying to take advantage of it. And I think that's a smart play for them. I think if they play like this and slowly go in, and there it is, there's the grip, there's the stun. It's going to force Smork Nation, and immediately it's going to force the trinket from Laser Chicken. I don't know what Laser Chicken's team, SJW, can do to prevent this. Maybe they just have to kind of all in, push in with their rest of Shaman, just kind of give it to him. Say, here, take the bait, let us free cast, we want to do some damage. But this is just so difficult for them to, do anything.
Yeah, and he's actually using his cooldowns right now. I think he's trying to put some pressure in there. Let's see if Cavi decides to use the melee wings. The Starfall is doing so much damage. Cavi, is he actually DC'd? I think he may have been, because he's actually not moving, and he just died. He had to be DC'd. There's no way. I was wondering why Laser Chicken popped all his CDs all of a sudden, because I was like, why would you pop your CDs when they're all behind the pillar? And then suddenly it all made sense.
That's a classic method way right there.
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate way to end that series, but I'm not sure that counts, right? That's an online game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if both teams agreed to replay it, then that could happen. But beyond that, I mean, yep, the gates were open. That's so sad. Like, we had such an amazing series going, and then that is always going to be something that happens in these online events. Of course, we'll just have a little look to see if both teams do agree to it, then
they want to replay it. It doesn't seem like they wanted to, as he did pop every CD and finished his opponent off. But we'll see. It's possible they decide to and try and play it fair. I guess we'll have to see.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. In the meantime, of course, so we'll assume that it's going to be a 3-2 in favor of Laser Chicken's LSD2. Very, very unfortunate for that to be the way that the series ends, especially since, I mean, what a series we were having, right? Like, we got it to 2-2, but that's going to be the thing with these online events. People do DC, unfortunately. These things do happen. We'll have a little talk with Laser Chicken's team and see what they have to say about the mana. Just going over quickly, we got a couple of extra resubscriptions. So a resubscription for 2 months from Adibert. Thank you very much, Adibert, for the resubscription. We already did the one from Feral Kitty Cat, but that was 25 months. So insane. Over 2 years of resubscribing. Thank you so much to that. Yeah, and then we will have a 500 bits donation. I think this is the first bits donation I've ever read out, so thank you very much for that from Perry Petty. Cheer 500, haven't played WoW in over a year, but still thoroughly enjoy these tournaments. Smiley face, thank you very much for that donation. So yeah, that's going to be all the donations. We're having a little talk with Laser Chicken's team right now to see if they will be willing to replay that game, because I think we all want to see that game replayed, right? Like, if we can, but obviously it's up to their discretion. The gates had open, so if they want to claim the win, they can, of course, do so.
Yeah, definitely a pretty crazy series so far. We've seen games end in about 30 seconds with 1 million crits. We've seen games going to dampening. So, you know, it's definitely hitting both sides of the field. Personally, I really feel like Cavi's team, if they continue to play patient and they continue to play smart, I feel like, you know, Laser Chicken's team just can't do anything about it. Every single time Laser Chicken pushes up, they're just ready for it. They're ready for the grip. They're ready for the stun. That game was actually already off to such a great start. They forced the trinket from Laser Chicken immediately. They forced the shaman into the middle of the map. That's essentially what they're trying to do. They're trying to get that shaman out of the defensive positioning. It's not even necessarily that they want to kill Laser Chicken. It just gives them so much more room to work with. And I really just can't see how they overcome that that defensive play. They just can't get pressure while they're back there. So it's going to be really tricky. So if they do decide to replay this one, I think it's going to be tough, but we'll see.
Yep, for sure. And I just want to take a minute here whilst we do figure out exactly what's going to happen, just to go over the match arena one more time, because I do really want to get to this $1,000 prize pool. So we just have a little look over it here, and we have the match arena page, and just to go through what we like kind of asking you guys to do, just press the sign in at the top right here to sign into your Twitch account. It'll automatically do it since you're already signed into Twitch. And then just go to the donate button here, type in the code GCDTV1, and then press the donate button. Obviously, we've already done it on this account, and then that will donate $1 from Matcherino to the prize pool. We have almost reached our target now. The NA tournament will be announced tomorrow regardless. Of course, we're not going to not hold the tournament if we don't reach the goal, but really excited for the North American tournament also. And then just one other thing that you should definitely be checking out. We can see we have almost 120 signups for this raffle. By watching this tournament, you have been earning points with the Matcherino bot. So every 30 minutes that you watch, you earn 1 raffle ticket worth. You can see it's 30 points, it's 1 point per minute. So if you've been watching the broadcast the entire time for the 3.5 hours or so, plus whatever the 2 hours yesterday, you may well have enough to buy about 10 or 12 of these tickets right now. So you can easily get 12 points in this raffle, which would make you a 1 in 10 chance to win amount of $25 value. Of course, there's going to be 3 of those being distributed at the end of the stream broadcast tomorrow. So definitely check that out, as well as some of the other fantastic rewards. This is a great website. We're definitely going to be using it in the future for our crowdfunding. Thank you very much to everyone who has checked them out, and thank you as well to them for partnering with us on this event. So we're just having a little look to see whether Laser Chicken's team is going to give Cavi's team the replay. Just the DC, of course, was the unfortunate end to that series thus far. But yeah, like, it was interesting to see Cavi's team was going back to the same strategy that we saw them do well in Game 4. Do you think that this is actually like a strategy where they are favored in this matchup?
Yeah, after seeing how it's played, I think they're really favored. I just feel like Laser Chicken's team can't do anything to get pressure without, you know, absolutely exposing their position and make them so weak for their shaman to be trained or for their Moonkin to just kind of get gripped out of behind a pillar. So I really feel like if Cavi's team played well and played patient, unless there was some crazy, you know, full moon crit, which we've seen already, I feel like they should have won, or easily could have won.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's always tough for Destro Warlocks do insane amount of damage as long as they can cast, right? As soon as they get line of sighted, or just people just running out, or just not even the interrupts. I mean, he wasn't getting interrupt, but as soon as people run out of sight, his damage goes to almost nothing. He can, I guess, cast some Rain of Fires, and then all the damage he has is basically just immolate ticks. So it's just very frustrating for him. And then, but I think that's, as you said, that's how Cavi has to play it. It's really hard to just stay in and just blow CDs and just trying to trade CDs. You have to just play it good, play it smart, and eventually just outlast the other team. And just I hope you just don't get hit by a 1 million full moon, I guess, too. And as long as you just don't get global like we saw in the first few games, and just play it patience and smart, I think they should be able to win it again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we just got confirmation, anyways. I think there's not going to be a replay. It's
right.
It was quite a good series, but unfortunately, that DC at the end is going to secure it. Social Justice Warriors will be advancing, so we're going to have a little look over and the implications of the brackets for that. And we can see, of course, at the bottom, Northern Gaming will advance since Realzin were unable to compete in this event. So they're going to be going up against Social Justice Warriors. That's going to be the first series in the lower bracket tomorrow, and we're going to have ABC versus Enjoy Legion. So we still have our 4 series, the upper bracket winners, lower bracket final, and then moving forward into the grand final. So our 4 series for tomorrow are there. We still have some fantastic teams left over in this tournament. I think let's think about it. We have Laser Chicken, BlizzCon champion team. We have Northern Gaming, ABC, who looks so dominant, and of course Enjoy Legion, Swapsy's team. So 4 fantastically strong teams for tomorrow's broadcast. But that is going to wrap it up for our series today. Do you guys have any kind of final comments? Who you expect to come out on top tomorrow, maybe?
I just want to thank you guys for having me. It was, it was a lot of fun casting with you, Zuni, and Adrian. Thank you guys very much. Thank you everyone who supports WoW Esports. We might not have the biggest community, but we still have one. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys helping fund the tournaments and stuff. So hopefully we continue to get these going for you guys. Big shout out to the people at GCD that continue running it. So much love.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always it's always been fun, and I think it was your first time commenting, so great job by you. I had also a lot of fun doing it with you. It's a good job, and I hope that we'll see some more exciting games, both on EU and NA, in the next few months. And as you said, there may not be as many fans, but I think the diehard fans are still around and will always be watching WoW. So thank you guys for being there and just representing. So yeah,
and I would like to extend a huge shout out to you guys as well. You both have done a phenomenal job of the casting today. CD, fantastic for I can't, you wouldn't believe that this is a first time casting. You'd think that you've been doing this all your life. Fantastic job. And Zuniaki as well, of course. It's been a little while since we heard you commentate. I think it was like Yasperson when you were last doing it, right? Like a fair bit ago. And you both just did such an awesome job. So thank you so much for coming on. And we are definitely looking forward to some very exciting games tomorrow. I'd also like to give a huge shout out to Toxic and Elbreth, of course, the co-owners of GCD TV. They do such great jobs behind the scenes. It can be quite frustrating doing some of the administrating work, but they both do a phenomenal job and producing all the graphics and stream assets and making everything possible. None of this would happen without them, so huge shout out to those guys. Also, huge shout out to everyone who's donated. We actually just got a $100 donation at the very end of the stream from Heroic. Thank you very, very much. He says, shout out to Mez, who is watching. You're the best. Also, go WoW Esports. Love the tourney. Great job. Thank you so, so much for that donation. That is a massive $100. Thank you so, so much for that. That's going to put us easily over our target for Match Arena. We will be announcing our North American event tomorrow, guys. That's going to be starting next month. I can give you the dates, but I won't. I'll tease you a little bit and wait for tomorrow with that one. And now, I guess the only thing that's really left for us to do is find someone to host, because I forgot to do that yesterday. So who do we think? I can see we've got a European streamer, we've got Trilly Bardem streaming. Maybe I'll host him if I can figure out how to do this. Well, so one more shout out. Thank you everyone who's watching. We got a huge viewership today. Thank you so, so much for your ongoing support to GCD TV. And I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's broadcast.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see you guys.